What are you doing? I thought you're busy, but I like the 5 o'clock shadow.
I just had to prove a point that I was still coming in with a mustache.
You said you're still coming in?
No, I said I just had to prove a point because I still wanted to come in without the mustache.
I have a solution for you. Give me a
You left. Bye.
second. Can help you fix this bad decision of yours. By the way, how many brothers do you have?
Three older brothers.
Three. There's four total.
Four total, yeah.
Holy
I'm the
cow.
youngest.
I'm in a 4 kid family too.
We're besties. Shark, we already knew this. We're both from Jersey. Come on.
This is what I'm into. This one is my
Mustache.
favorite. I have lots of options. I even have blonde ones. Very
I
Charlie
think
Chaplin, that
I
one.
think you just gotta go like thick.
Yeah, I do like the thick daddies.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure which if this goes a very Hitler. That that's not acceptable anymore.
Yeah, no, you can't do that. Take that
Big
off.
one. You know what's funny though? I'll tell you this is anytime I see a mustache, I or facial hair in general on a man, I always think of it as like it's kind of like pubes on your face. You know what I mean? That's the part where I'm like, oh, they're manicuring pubes on their face.
But like, why did you like mine so much then?
It was iconic. I have a thing for mustaches in general because I think they're hilarious.
They are.
They are. That's what I'm saying. So I just enjoyed that about you. I enjoyed that. To me, it said you had a sense of humor. Obviously, you're a military person, so I know you shower. That means good hygiene to me.
Yeah.
That's good. But yeah, no, I think they're hilarious personally, and so I very much appreciate a good mustache, a thick daddy mustache. What's going on with your house? You're painting?
Oh yeah, painting.
You're painting?
Uh-huh.
Are you spraying?
No, it looks like shit though, doesn't it?
What are you using for paint?
Bare ceiling white flat, I think is what it's called. It's
It doesn't
because
look,
it
it doesn't
basically
look flat, but it
the
looks
ceiling
patchy.
needs to be skim coated, honestly.
Okay.
And I skim coated the entire upstairs, and I was like, "Fuck that! I'm not doing that again." Because
What
we're
about
living in it. Like it's like I can't do. That was rough.
it's rough when you're working by yourself.
Yeah,
It's rough. It's also rough when you don't have a sprayer.
yeah, yeah.
All
But
right.
I don't know. We were talking about it. You know, this kitchen's the worst out of all of them. So maybe I'll just do the kitchen. The other ones
Yeah.
aren't bad. But I don't know.
I mean,
I don't even know if we're gonna stay in this freaking house. Like we're like talking about renting this, hope maybe this summer, and then
and then where are you gonna go?
maybe out to California for a little bit. Not, I don't want to live there permanently, but for my brother
Where
and
where is your family from?
Jersey,
So how'd your brother end up out in California?
just one of those guys that just was like, I'm going to California. But Sarah's sister, my wife's sister, lives out in San Clemente, so pretty close to LA.
Okay, that's nice. I think it's hard, especially when the girl has a baby. Usually the girl moves closer to her mom,
Yeah,
especially when the kids are young. Like that's just it's how we do it. That's where we're most comfortable. So,
yeah.
but your kid's like almost a year now, or how old are we now? 14 months?
16 months, give or take. Yeah, 16 months. Yeah.
What's the most surprising thing about being a dad?
Surprising. I don't think anything's been like surprising.
I'm thinking the thing that I want to know is more like the main mystery for me is how men feel.
It's it's like you never really knew what like pure dependency and love and commitment was like before having a child in a way. Like
Mm,
there's a different like type of love. I don't know how to explain it. And then on top of it, it's like, I don't know, just seeing all the developments so fucking cool. Like so fucking cool. Like I'll give it to you this way. I have like a little office. I like when I'm working during the day, I like go out, go pee. He like sprints across the room, grabs my finger, and then pulls me to read a book. Like cutest thing in the world, and it like makes me want to
yeah.
cry every time. Right,
Mm.
like that, like that stuff is just like crazy to me. Just like super crazy.
There was I don't know who the comedian is. I think it was Dave Chappelle, where he's like, I think he's smoking weed with his son, or he finds out his son is smoking weed. And he's like, you came from my balls. But I
Yeah,
think about that often because, like, at the end of the day, that one tiny cell created this whole life. And for me, like, I love when my nieces say, like, the language patterns that they have when they start to express themselves. I can't even, next time they say something crazy, I'll send you a message, but it's just the craziest thing that I'm like, how does she fucking know how
yeah,
to say this thing right now? Because she's like, I feel, and I'm like, what do you mean you feel? Who said you, who taught you feelings? Like, where's this coming from? We're like, I don't know, but she'll say things and I'll just be like, that's fucking wild. I just can't get over the crazy cool things they say. They're
yeah, yeah.
fabulous. They're yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Like I think another thing is for like he's starting to he's definitely been picking up on stuff for a while, but like it's so funny. You know the book Where the Wild Things Are?
Yeah.
You know the part when the guy Max is like, let the wild rumpus start, like
Mm-hmm.
in the book. He just starts like bouncing. Like and so like he grabs the book now and just flips to the page and then just starts going like, yeah.
That was another cool thing when they first, so we used to read a lot together. And it's funny because at one point when my niece was like reading, I was like, how does reading even happen? I don't remember, reading. She memorizes it. And so very much like she'll see the picture and then
Yeah.
she'll,
Yeah.
they're so smart that they know like what's happening at that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
That's
It's
really cute.
crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy. And you're just like, what? Like, like when I was in California looking after my brother, like I have Where the Wild Things Are memorized, and I'll just like start when I would FaceTime Sarah, I would like start reading it,
Mhm.
and he would just sit there and be like, oh, and then get super excited, and it's like just because the words, I feel like he was imagining the photos, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So
Precious. Yeah.
where is
Um,
everybody?
I don't know. So I have it on the, how do you get the alert for the message for the meeting?
You messaging me and then key screenshotting it and then saying, I think this is meant for you.
Oh yeah, I thought the same thing too, because I was like, and I sent it and I was like, wait a minute, who's behind this right now? Yeah,
Both
if
of
it's a
us.
little, if it's a little too like diplomatic, then I know it's like Keith, because Keith is very much like that.
Oh yeah.
Um,
He
it's
he
funny.
he literally was like, how do I respond? And I was like, I was like, I guarantee she's asking you to join the Zoom.
No, no, I like giving hell.
Oh, I know. That's you. What
Yeah.
you been up to? I saw your house got listed.
Oh, thank God. I'm so happy that got done because, yeah, so she had like a tooth. So I first listed it February 1st. I was pushing it a little bit hard. It wasn't totally ready. Like there were all these small things that weren't done. And I called her and I said, I think I need to cancel. I think I need to cancel this. I think we listed too early. I think just, what is it? Push off the open house till next week. We can do private showings in the meantime for anybody who's upset about stuff, but it's not ready. I had a wet dirt pile. It's the first time I've ever done a house that didn't have a concrete basement, like a concrete slab. And so it's just
Oh,
gravel. I've never done a house like that before. And I remember the first time seeing it and being like, I don't know what this is about. And oh shit, I got to go back to that house tonight. I got a couple things to take care of. So I have a sump pump. It's not connected right now because if I did connect it, it's frowned upon. So there's two options. You can connect it to the main sewer line, but you're not supposed to because some pump is usually groundwater. And the whole
Yeah.
sewage
Yeah.
system is trying to get poo-poo water back into poop and water. And
Yep.
so if
Yep.
you start adding in rainwater, rainwater shouldn't be there. It should be towards the back of the house. But the way that it's currently set up is it's like 8 feet to go to that pipe. And whoever was doing the stuff before, I think my plumber did it, where he put in like a drain portion. So all I have to do is connect it and then put in a one-way valve and we're good to go. The other option is I got to dig this whole trench outside of the house, shooting to the
Fuck
back of the
that.
house. And so you're kind of like, I could do that, but also whoever is taking over the house, they need to know where all that stuff is. If they put in a patio, if they put in retaining wall, if they put in a
Yeah.
fence, like it's really hard to find it and you're going to dig it up unless you know exactly where it is. But homeowners also too, they don't want to do shit. So right now where I'm at is I think the plan is I've got my electrical inspection. I need to get my building inspection. Once that's done, I'm going to do a couple things after. Like I want to put like it's a like 2 stairs going down to the basement. I don't need to have it, but if I do it before the building inspector, he's going to make me pour a footing and like way overbuild it.
Yeah.
So I just want him to come in and give his blessings, close the permit, and then go do some other, last minute things that I would do for my house
Yeah.
just to tidy everything up. But I'm really excited, nervous now that it's here. There's a bunch of other things I want to do, like fresh flowers and then like a bowl of chocolates and things like that. Tell your brother I say what's up.
I will. All right. I'll have to hop out. You have a friend now.
You're fine. Hi,
Bye,
kid.
Sharky.
Bye, Dylan.
What we doing?
Hello. I'm gonna kick this out of here. Give me a second. I don't know how to kick this out of here. View profile chat pin. We're good. So last week, about 3 weeks ago, I ended up having a meetup at the house that I finished. That was the house that I did after the whole Z thing happened. I kind of did it as like a testimony house just to know that I could do it. And then I ended up having a meetup and I kind of missed being together with people. I kind of missed doing this. Like back in the day when I first started, it was all about accountability. And I had my leaders at the time were Anthony McTizick, Clinton Reynolds, Celicia Lope, Jay Lopes, Kevin Kozak. And there was like a really small handful of us. But I remember them yelling at me and saying, like, come into these meetings, come talk, like, let's get it popping. And that was the beginning of everything. And I feel like I'm a better person personally when I have friends that are like watching me, knowing what I'm doing, so on and so forth. And so it was important to me because I had a friend do it for me, essentially listen to me talk about my bullshit, that I found it to be beneficial. I had realized that, quarter 1 is already over. It's like 3 months into the year, and I have no plan as to what I'm doing this year. And so because of that, I guess like time is passing by so fast. I wanted to have time to like talk about, what it is that we're trying to work on, what it is that we're trying to do. It's easy when nobody's watching you. It's easy for you to hide and not do work. And so for me, this is just a place for me to be seen in addition to others being seen as well. Lee, what's up? You can unmute. I thought you were in camo gear for a second. I was like, oh my God, are we sneaking in a meeting?
Camo gear. No, I'm
You're what?
camo gear. I said I've been out of the military for a while now.
I don't know. Excited to have you back.
Camo gear, just flannel gear.
The lighting is kind of dark. I thought you were back into camping mode.
No,
No.
your
All
room
right,
is
so
dark in
so
here.
let me set the standard for this. Case is locked in a bunker somewhere. Somebody's throwing hot dogs down to him. Yeah. All right. So last meeting we had, you guys were not here. Kesa was here. But all I wanted to do was kind of like catch up as to what you guys have going on. So what we ended up doing was like highlights and lowlights since I saw you last. Catch me up to speed on what it is that you're working on currently. And then the last part was where are you going? So that's what we worked on last time because it's a little bit of a reunion for us. And
Tell
the
me
other
what to do.
thing to talk about was when I first was trying to do this, one thing that I want to work on is for those that are familiar with Jesse Itzler, he's a guy that talks about every year you should have one big year defining goal. Some people call it a C-type goal. He calls it a misogi. I guess that's the Japanese word for it. But for me, I didn't pick anything. Just the year was going by. I'm aging like crazy, and I'll be 38 this year, and I want to make sure that I'm spending my time well. So I wanted to work on that personally, and now I'm going to force all of you to work on it with me too. So I want you guys to be picking a C-type goal, and then some other fun things. What is happening? Can you see this or no?
See what?
I think something's wrong with my mouse. It's freaking out and it's making my screen flash, which is fine. But if you can hear me, so one is the Misogi, the year defining goal. There's something called Kevin's rule. And Kevin's rule is all about doing something you wouldn't normally do every other month, such that by the end of the year, you have 6 adventures that you wouldn't normally have. And then the last one is every quarter to have a new habit that you're stacking. Whether your habit is like to hydrate more, you know, get some sunshine first thing in the morning, have 1 hour without your phone, whatever the case may be. Those are the 3 things that he talks about. I can send you a video on it, but that's what we'll work on today after we have our mini reunion with Keith Lyons and Lee. And then I think on iPhone, is that Mrs. Hoy? You can say hi. I know you're cooking dinner. Don't worry, she hasn't. By the way, is this your note taker? Fireflies?
Oh shit. I didn't even realize that I had a note taker.
Yeah,
How do I get rid of it? That's the question.
me too. I can sign in and try to take you out, but
Yeah, I didn't do that. It just automatically happened.
you don't need it because technically Zoom does it. So Zoom automatically records everything and then takes the AI notes. And then if at a later date I move everything over to YouTube, YouTube does the same thing, automatically summarize, transcribes, take notes, all the fun stuff. So nobody really needs that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize it was mine. I thought it was yours.
No, it says Fireflies Lee, note taker Lee.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
assuming that's you.
yeah. I just saw it.
So let's start with Mr. Lyons. What have you been up to since I've seen you last? It might be a year and a half, maybe 2 years now.
No, same old, same old. Got just working on some rehabs. I got one almost done. And actually the second one, when I come down to see one of your meetups there at your house,
Mm-hmm.
I now I'm looking for that 120,000. I gotta start that other rehab that's been sitting for 2 months now.
So I
Going.
have run into quite a few lenders. They're now, in the beginning when I needed money, nobody wanted anything to do with me. And now that I don't need money, everybody's like, hey, come take mine. So I have about 3 different lenders that are ready to compete. So the one that I introduced you to, that was Julian, right?
Yeah, and actually I went online and tried to fill out his form, and
Yeah.
it would not let me send that form for
Okay.
whatever reason. And then I texted him, he never got back to me at all on
Yeah.
it.
So the form
So
is how he does his like onboarding. So it's him and then like a girl that helps out in his office. I would tell you, if you go back to the form that you were trying to fill out, even if you put in like NA not available or 0, because he's going to ask you for things, but certain things are just not going to fit, because I think that form is like a bridge loan and maybe not like a DSCR, or they have these other loans that after you do a flip, you can actually convert it into a traditional mortgage and then be able to keep the property. But I would tell you, fill out the form has to be submitted, period. Even if it's incomplete, like even if the information is incomplete, the form has to be completed. So I would say write in whatever you have to write so that the form can receive. So even if it's like how much money is the property and you don't have a price for it, just put in like $100, if that makes sense.
Suzanne, can you go into the participants and kick out the fireflies?
Can I go into purchase things?
Participants?
Yeah.
You go into
Let me,
participants
I
for
gotta
the
email.
fireflies? Because
Yeah.
you started it, so if you're the host, you have to be the one to kick them out.
Well, actually, I'm not logged in right now, so it doesn't know who the hell I am.
Oh, okay.
But
Well,
I will
somebody has to
do
kick it out that
all
is
of
the
those
host.
things for you.
Because that's the only way that you can get rid of it. I can't get rid of it.
All right. It's okay. Not the end of the world. I don't care that much. But so a couple of different things. Like one of the things that I want to do differently with this group is I want, like I said, I want to do great work with great people and I want to have great friends because of it. That's it. That's as simple as it is, just because for me, real estate is way more fun with friends. Um, and the other thing I'm thinking of is I want practitioners only. And so I'm thinking you have to be on a HUD somewhere within like the last 6 months, 6 months to a year, no wannabes, no people that think they're doing real estate. You got to be on a HUD somewhere. And the reason for that is the people that have the most amount of value to offer are people that are actually doing the real shit and not just reading about other people doing stuff or fantasizing about doing stuff. It's people who's really walking the fire. So I want it to be like a dual-edged sword. Number one, real practitioners that are really doing it. And then number two, motivating people to, at a minimum, meet that standard of I have to be buying something, I have to be on a HUD somewhere every 6 months. If it's like an outrageous rule, then obviously we can adjust it. But again, I want real practitioners, people that are motivated, people that are really doing the damn thing, because it's not that hard, especially when you have good friends helping you. So that's one. And then the second part is I want to have like a communal resource. So back when I was doing sub two in general, I had like resources for all of us to share. I don't want to be the only person that's submitting resources. I want you guys to submit whatever fun, cool things you have. I know Kazas do a really good job of like printing out, they're like an agent team. And so they do a really good job of printing out or having flyers about things. But whatever it is that you have, I would love to be able to collect resources that way. In addition to not only like PDFs and documents, resources can also be like good contacts. And so for me, lately, I've been getting a lot of lenders. And so I have like a short list, Keith, that I can put together for you of lenders that are willing to compete. So Conquest is a new one. I have a girl out of Florida who's like, I don't think they're making any money on the loans that they're doing. They're simply doing it because they're trying to get in. They're trying to beat out everybody else and establish that relationship of, doing good work with people that do good work. Because as we know, there are people out there that are doing shitty work and will take your money and not try to pay you back. And so once you find somebody who's actually doing the damn thing, you kind of want to maintain that relationship and be their number one person. So I've been having a lot of lenders reach out. So two things I probably make is definitely the directory, because I always make a directory and we're getting kind of bigger. And the second part is some sort of like contractors list. So I have a contractors list already just for my stuff in Andover. I call it like, my grading system is called frogs, princes, and then frog kings, but nobody knows what that is exactly. So I've changed it into like all-star and preferred and good, but even then it's not that cute. I might just go back to frog, princes, and kings. But anyway, so I have some more lenders. Why don't you, and then be honest, Keith, I know you're always like, every day, same old, but it's been a year and a half. Within that year and a half, what have you accomplished? And it hasn't just been, how many, did you add more doors? Did you do a big project? Did you lose a lot? Obviously, you know that I lost at some point. But like highlights and lowlights within like the last year, I want you to think about what was a big thing you accomplished and maybe what was a painful thing that you had to endure. And how did you overcome that?
Uh, geez, since the last time we saw her, this is the third rehab I'm on since the last time we saw it. I get another one sitting, that's four. The thing was good about one of them was I finally broke the six-figure mark.
Nice.
Yeah, I should have posted it. I took a picture of it, but I might post it on my Instagram sometime. $114,000 for my check at closing. It's
That's
pretty cool.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was pretty cool. Just been helping a lot of guys. I got two investors up here I help doing earthwork, and just it kind of sucks because I got to kick myself in the ass to start doing something. Over the past year and a half, I've helped my buddy Scott do earthwork and watch him build 92 units. My other friend, Natapong, I've watched and helped him do the earthwork on his projects. He's done a 16 unit complex and then a 12 unit complex. And actually, I just give him the piping and all the materials that he needed. He's doing another 24 unit complex that he wants me to help him do the road on this summer. You know,
Yeah.
I like to
Where
start
are-
doing it for myself. You know,
Where are
just
all these at?
right up in Bangor, Maine.
Oh, nice. Cool.
Mark, so Keith is one of my all-time favorites. He is the person that drives the farthest. He always came to like every meetup I've ever had. Drove the furthest. This man is like an all-day like trucker, like 8 hours down, 8 hours back. That's what I tell people. Don't correct me.
Nice.
That's just how I have it in my head. He brings his wife Sally when he comes. He's just super sweet. And then at the end of the day, his style is a little bit different, right? Like he's into purchasing homes, maybe a little bit more of the BRRRR strategy. And then people would come in and be like, well, let me show you something sexy with, Instagram. Let me show you some lead management. Let me show you, all the bells and whistles. Keith has always been super sweet about staying open to any of those possibilities, asking for help. Like I can't say enough good things about Keith. Keith is a very solid man. And I try to push him as much as possible because he has a lot of great stuff to offer. I mean, Keith, I hear you talking about you helping out your friends. And again, like I'm one of those, and you know what happened to me and Z,
Yeah.
right? Getting curb stomped and like kicked in the face. Okay. So that shit hurt. But I can also tell you he's not the only friend that I had. And so when shit was really, really tough, having friends in real estate period makes this so much easier, makes it so much enjoyable. Even today, like my listing went back on again, and just having friends support you or thumbs up or check things out or give you feedback or cheer you on is very sweet. And the other thing that I'll say too is when you have friends that are being really successful, because I felt the same thing too, right? Like I've helped other people stop foreclosures and then they go make however much money they're making on their house. I go yell at somebody to go buy a property and they're going to do really well on it, and I don't get paid on that. Or they're flipping faster. I help somebody buy a house at 300 and they're selling like, $250,000 plus over. And I know they didn't spend that. And so when I see that, there's a part of me that does feel jealous, but I have a coach that will tell you whatever feeling that you're feeling is feedback. And so if it's motivating you, if it's kicking you in the ass, at a minimum, yes, you are doing work for your friends and you're building great relationships in that way. And hopefully those relationships are semi-reciprocal and that good juju you put out there comes back to you. But at a minimum, they're showing you that all of the shit that they're doing is absolutely possible, right?
Yeah.
And if they can do it, you can absolutely do it. So if you're watching your friends go off and make this kind of money, what does that mean for you? What do you want then?
Well, I mean, I've been friends with these guys for a long time. I've done a lot of work for them.
Yeah.
And it is reciprocal. If I need help, Scott, like this other rehab I got, Scott just got his financing for some stuff and he told me, he says, I can't do nothing about your labor costs. He says, but if you need some materials or whatever you need, let me know, that type of deal. I mean, he's always helped me out, doing things like that. I just never built anything from ground up. You know what I mean?
Ooh.
And I watch some guys do it all the time. I just like to try to do some stuff myself. That's all. Or
So you
find
can
a team, some other people to do stuff with. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Not that I want to keep everything myself. I don't mind sharing. Everybody can make, so.
you can build a team if you can't find it. That's also possible too. So don't always be waiting for things to come on a silver plate. Also get angry enough to rise to the occasion and get what you want, take what you want.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mark, go ahead.
No, you're good. Well, I don't know. The acquisition manager in my head, type situation is moving. Like, what if you were to like bring a deal for them and wed yourself in somehow? Part ownership or whatever that looks like. Because I mean, you're doing the earthwork on these properties, right? So maybe you might be able to help identify what that might look like for them, a good opportunity. I don't know. That's just my superpower. That's like all I know. So that's kind of where
Yeah.
I'm at. Yeah.
they're doing it for themselves. You know what I mean? Getting wedged in is not, that's not kind of an option. It just isn't. I mean, they would do them either with me or without me. You know what I'm saying? I just help them out doing what I do. I mean,
Well, what if you
I
dropped a project in their lap? That type of thing.
I don't know. They're local. They don't do anything else, around. I mean, they kind of self-sufficient because to develop stuff, you got to be ahead of yourself. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, Scott's always buying land. He's always getting engineering done. You know what I mean? He builds houses and sells houses to cover his costs. You know what I mean? It's just, it's the machine. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? The bigger the machine, the more, you know what I mean? And finally, over the past 15, 18 years that he's been doing it, he's got quite a machine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Scott's got right now, geez, he's got to have 200 units, 180, 200 units. And by the time he's done, he'll have over 400 units. He'll have over $1 million passive income because he keeps telling me we're good friends. He keeps telling me, he says, I got to stop. I got to stop because I'll never have any money because any money you got goes.
Yeah.
Build, put foundations in, build, you know what I mean? Build, do the, whatever he needs, done, all that money. Finally, when he slows down, he'll have, it was 422 units, I think it was, once he gets all his projects done. And that's a million plus passive income, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Keith, finish the question or finish the sentence. What is it that Keith wants?
Right now, I just like to find some good funding because my problem is I can't turn money fast. I just can't seem to turn money fast. Doing, a project and yeah, it pays good, but you go 2 or 3 months without it, trying to keep guys going. And myself, it's just, it's too hard. You know what I mean? I kind of screwed up a year ago because I used to get money for my projects and get everything in the project. You know what I mean? My rehab funds, the whole 9 yards. When I got done selling it, that was quote my money. You know what I mean? Everything done. Well, getting stingy, sometimes I hate paying interest, like that. So I was starting to accumulate a little bit of money. So instead of getting the rehab costs, I'd get enough money to buy my project and I'd do my rehab out of pocket. Well, that's kind of made me short, you know what I mean? And it's caught up to me. And I just, you know what I mean? So I got to regroup. And that's why I'm trying to find money to finish this one little project and do the other one, you know what I mean? Because I didn't get the monies that I should have when I went to do it.
So you
Live
got
and learn.
feedback?
What's that?
Yeah. No, so I'm in the same boat. I feel like that's part of this. For the Andover house, I feel like I broke every single piggy bank I possibly had and then some. And so when I tell you kicking and screaming over the finish line, I will go, I will. But I don't know that I don't know that, especially when it comes to money, if it's something that you can just skip over. I almost think it's part of the growing pains that you go through this process of trying to float your workers, trying to float yourself, provide for your family, cover your bills, and then you realize you come up short because you made a choice, and the choice was you were going to fund your own rehab costs. Now maybe I don't want to do that, right? Maybe there's a better option. What I would tell you, if I could give you homework, would be I would love for you to take your friend Scott out on a very hot, sexy man date. I don't know what those look like, but do some male bonding where you talk to him and say, listen, this is exactly what I'm trying to accomplish. Keith Lyons wants to, and then tell him exactly what you want to do. And the question I want you to ask him is, what's really going on with him? He looks super fly, I'm sure. Engineering, planning, permits, buying land, blah, blah, blah. But it's also really going to wear on him as well. There are things that's going on that you're not seeing. And I would say if you are really good friends with this guy, just to tell him like, hey, can I get some of your time? I would love to spend time with you. I'd love to tell you what I want to do, and see if there's a way for us to help each other. Because I like you, I know you like me. I want to find ways for us to continue working together. And so I would love to sit down with you and talk to you about what you got going on. And then I want to tell you what I got going on.
Yeah. I'd actually probably be better off doing something like that with my buddy Natapong.
Mhm.
Just for the simple reason that just a year and a half ago, I turned Scott on to a CPA I met.
Mhm.
Okay, real good guy. We thought. Okay, Z. Okay, real good guy. We thought. Okay, well, Scott had this project that he had 120 units he's doing, and when he first started it, Scott's a farmer. I call him the farmer. Okay, not that he's not educated, but he just doing banking stuff. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Getting the drawers ready and putting everything together and stuff like that. He really didn't have any people to do that. So Matt, CPA, and him started talking together and they kind of teamed up together. Okay. So Matt, CPA, did all the paperwork and put it to the bank to get funding for this project to come by. So they went in kind of cahoots together. Okay. Made an LLC together and stuff. They were going to do the project together. Well, Matt screwed Scott. Okay.
Mhm.
He not doing anything, not doing well. They were either going to lose the project or Scott went in and took it over. And it's costing Scott $1 million to get that guy out of it.
Mhm.
Guy never did. The only thing that guy ever did was put the stuff in for the draws. And now Scott's finding, because he's trying to sue him now. Scott's
Mhm.
finding that he was using their Alphon bank account as his own projects because he had his own projects going too. So Scott found out he bought all the guys' doors, he bought all the guys' windows for one of his projects. He bought, you know what I mean? All this is coming to light. So they're in a, yeah, that's all. So with Scott, that wouldn't be, but Natapong is a different story. Scott can do his own earthwork. He's got his own equipment and stuff. I just kind of help him out. He likes me dealing with the engineers. That's what I do. I built roads all my life. I laid pipe all my life. That's what I do. You know what I mean? So he likes me dealing with the engineers, and I get everything done and over with him for him. But Natapong can't do that. That's why he wants me to do. So maybe not this project here he's doing, but Natapong would be the guy that I'd probably talk to maybe team up with or something, thinking about it.
I would love for you at a minimum just to talk to people. Like that's been a saving grace for me. Anytime that I found myself in like a pickle, or like a tough spot, it's just talking through things. With it doesn't
Yeah.
matter who you're talking to, but just the simple fact that you get to talk it out loud with somebody, I think is really important. So I would love for you to, and I know you said before, like I want to do more. I'll either do it by myself or I would love to do it with a team. It's not going to happen if you're just sitting there waiting for things to happen. So if I could give you homework would be hot sexy man date or hot sexy man conversation with whoever. I don't care who you have it with. Go have it with like the door holder at a hotel. But the simple fact that you're talking out loud to people about what you want to accomplish, or you're finding out about them and what they're doing, I think is really important. In the same regards too, that I'll put you in contact with some of these lenders that I'm running into. And I want you to talk to them about the same thing. Like, hey, the last project I did, I funded the rehab on my own. It wasn't a good choice because I fell short here and here. How would you advise me next time? What loan product do you have that would be a better fit for this? How should I have done it so that I could have avoided all this nonsense? But you got to talk to them about it. You trying to solve everything from where you stand is not giving you the full picture. You have to involve other people.
Yeah, I know. I've been just the way I read, I'm 64 years old. I've all my life, take care of yourself. You know what I mean? And that's a hard thing to break. It is,
Listen, for me, when the Z thing happened, that was the first time I ever asked for help because I knew I was in a shithole. I'm not a person that asks for help. I take care of everything all by myself. That's not the winning formula. And I'm the same as you, where I'm self-sufficient. I'll provide for myself. I don't want to tell you that I fell short. I don't want to admit failure. If I have a problem, I want to fix it as fast as possible before I have to involve somebody else. That was the first time that I was forced to ask for help. It was one of the best things that I did. So if I can tell you, please, for the love of God, do not wait until you have something like a Z storm falling on top of you for you to finally ask for help. And keep in mind too, you're not exactly, okay, maybe you are asking for help, or maybe you are you're making a friend. Just think of it as that. You're making a friend, you're telling them what you're working on or what you would like to do, and you're just exchanging ideas. You're not asking for help. You're not saying I'm a piece of shit and I can't do it myself. You're simply saying, I would love to do this with a friend. This is what I'm working on. Would you care to join me? Sort of deal. But if you don't have that conversation, if you don't open that door, nobody knows what the hell you're thinking about. Nobody knows what you're working on. They can't join forces with you when you're not talking to them. So I would tell you, don't think of it as you're asking for help. Like when I first started borrowing money, that's what I felt like. I felt like being like, I'm broke as hell. Give me money, please. And then very quickly, I realized that's not the case at all. I'm offering you an opportunity to make money, fucking 15% on shit that I got going on. And if you know me, you know you're going to get paid back. I'm giving you an opportunity. I'm not begging you for money. And once you can, I think when people get into this mindset, you're thinking too much about yourself. It's too much of your ego thinking, I'm going to be hurt if I'm asking for help, rather than being like, this guy is searching for somebody just like me. This guy is searching for somebody to work with, and he doesn't know that because I haven't told him shit. Anyway, my goal for you, for the love of God, Keith Lyons, please go make some hot, sexy Maine man friends. Hot and sexy.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
You can do it, right?
Oh, yeah.
So give
That I
yourself a
can.
goal. I want you to write down like 3 names of people that you want to talk to, but like between this week and next week, because I will find you. I have a special set of skills and I will find
Yeah.
you. I'll definitely check in on you, and I want to know who it is that you talk to, and then I'll introduce you to my lenders who are willing to compete for your business.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Always. Yeah. All right, Leviator, what's going
Yes,
on with you?
ma'am.
You're head of the house. So for those that don't know, Lee is my only frog king, my only frog king. And it's really embarrassing because I have lots of other frog princes, but only one king. And I feel really bad bragging about you because they're also really good, but they're not frog king material.
Yeah.
Lee,
What?
Lee is. If you've seen my kitchen, that shit is fire. I get my stuff, any other kitchen that you order, you have to wait like 3, 4 weeks for that shit to show up. And it's going to show up wrong and it's going to show up messed up. If I have a problem, I talk to Lee, and within a week, week and a half, it's direct from the manufacturer. I get what I need. The prices are insane. His communication is great, always picks up the phone, knows exactly what I'm talking about, takes care of me within like an hour or 2 hours. The order is placed and it's a done deal. So if you are ordering your kitchen cabinets from anywhere else, you are being dumb as hell.
Yeah, I agree.
Leviator, benchmark improvements, benchmark home improvements.
Yeah, I'd say that's definitely like the primary focus. I think
Yeah.
when Suzanne, you were the one who kind of led me and said, go do cabinet things when I was considering leaving the military. When I had first joined Sub 2, and you get in and you're like, what's going on here? What am I supposed to do? Everybody's telling you different things. And so when I originally went into the business, I was also just trying to understand the market, trying to understand the industry. I am somebody who needs to understand intimately the numbers of things, and I need to understand principally why things are the way that they are. And so over the course of now almost a year of being in the industry, I've sort of become far more familiar than I was beforehand. So definitely in the home improvements world, I've found that the kitchen side of things and like supplying to people within Sub 2 or people who are doing flips like for Suzanne, like it's not a lot of money. It is far more for me about the relationship. Because I also run a business with my dad and my brother. So we do kitchen and bathroom remodeling for residential people around New Hampshire. And just to like support that business, pay all of our salaries, overhead and et cetera. Like cabinets that I'm gonna be selling to people within sub two is quite literally not even gonna come close to touching like my monthly nut. So that has been a lot more for me, like having Suzanne give me such wonderful introductions to people. Like that has served me in more ways than the money that I'm making off of selling cabinets to people within the group. Like, it's a lot more of like a relationship building than it is a monetary like business model. So that's something that I had to learn because when I first went into the family business, I actually opened up a separate LLC with an operating agreement with the family company, thinking like, I'm gonna sell the shit out of some cabinets. And it just wasn't actually gonna make sense whatsoever. So I was like taking distributions from my business and paying myself, thinking like, oh, this is gonna be super smart, like five head type level things. And it wasn't at all. Um, but now I think that the biggest thing is, again, the relationships, finding people who can do the work and can do it reliably, um, building the relationships with manufacturers or other people that are going to supply materials for projects, plumbers, electricians, other people who work as GCs, other people that have had experience fucking up so that they can help you from not doing it yourself, lenders, etc. So now I am primarily focused on the family business and building that up, trying to get that to like a more sustainable place. And a lot of that is like learning about systems and marketing and social media, which as young as I am, I should know a lot more about social media than I do. Um, but I don't. So that's like a really weird thing for me, not feeling comfortable being in front of a camera, taking pictures, not remembering to, um, staying organized. I think that the military helped me in a lot of ways. Corey can definitely attest to that. Like you're forced into roles as a leader really early on. They kind of throw you into situations with very little to no prior knowledge, and they're like, figure it out. So I think that much like anything else in life, that has sort of allowed me to trial by fire, figure out how to be a leader and organize and kind of work in systems, work with problems and things that don't go your way and still come out on top. So what I am doing recently is the business as of now is me, my father, my brother. My mom will be coming back into the business. She currently works at a school, but she's going to be leaving it and she's going to be doing like a lot of our front of house, if that's a way to put it. So she's going to be doing like our lead nurture and setting appointments and scheduling, taking care of invoicing and stuff like that, which is sweet because as of right now, my dad, and my brother are kind of wearing like a lot of hats and a lot of the same hats. So big lessons that I've learned in the last few months is having set roles and responsibilities. Keith, I know you were talking about like taking care of yourself, and taking care of yourself usually then implements itself as doing everything for yourself when that's not necessarily the most effective. So I'm also one of those people who's like, oh, I can be good at everything. Like, let me just do it. But then I forget things and I overlook them, and then it's not as effective, and I could be making more money otherwise. So trying to take myself, especially my brother, who has been an installer for like 6 years now, um, trying to take him off job sites, turn him into more of a project manager. My dad built this company 20 years ago, and he has managed sales teams for a very long time and made other people before he started his business millions of dollars, um, refining and building their sales portion of their business. So I would like him to be able to use that superpower in our business and then have me focus more so on building out our systems, our automations, our lead nurture, our marketing, things like that, so that we can bring in more leads. Because as of right now, our business benchmark has been one that nobody actually knows about. Even I think like biggest punches in the gut have been not even our own family and friends know what it is that we do or what we offer as a business, which like once you actually see that and have conversations, you're like, oh shit, that's not good at all. Like they should be very well aware of what it is that we can actually do and what we do. So
Didn't we talk about you having like a party?
yes, we did. And
What's up
once
with
the
that?
what like definitely pending weather because it'd be like a thinking like outdoor cookout type situation.
Yo, I saw you having a party with all your boys with your little motorcycles, and you were like this and a Latina. I
Yeah.
saw that.
Yes.
No fucking invite for me, but
Yeah.
I
You're not
definitely
Latina,
think
so sorry.
it could be Latina. Play your cards right. Uh, yeah, I can make a quesadilla dress for myself. Anyway, but I would love for you to have like your contractors because you do have a network of people. By the way, you never posted that thing in my contractor group, did you?
What thing?
The thing I put on a silver fucking platter for you that said, "My name is Lee. I'm looking for tile setters. I'm
Oh
looking
no,
for."
no, I have not yet.
Why would you not do that?
Um, I don't have a good reason for you.
Before you go to bed tonight.
Okay. Yeah, so I think that the reason I didn't do it is because I actually have been able to find some people in the meanwhile. So I think another big thing that I've been learning is who it is that you're going to when you're trying to hire people to do work. And something that we were doing initially, especially we like breached into doing bathroom remodeling. And when we were breaching into doing bathroom remodeling, we obviously didn't know what it is that we were going up against. It's like a whole new offer. So like, how do I price this out? How do I do my cost estimating? What materials do I need? Like, what are pitfalls that I could find when I'm looking at this project? Um, and so we're going to essentially other businesses that do bathroom remodeling and using like a GC with their own guys and hiring them on our projects that we sell. So as our client, we sell the job, and then we're essentially afterwards sending it out to these guys and saying, hey, here's a project, here's like the overview of the scope of work, pictures, etc., meeting with them and then saying like what can you do this for? Instead of dictating to them, this is what I need, this is what the job pays essentially. Take it or leave it. And so that is something that we've transitioned to over the last few months. Really like when I say last few months, I mean like last 2 months. This is something that we lost our ass on like 3 bathrooms in a row, where, collectively we might have brought in like 80 grand worth of revenue, if not more, and made less than 10 grand, which is running a business like does not make sense whatsoever. And big lessons that we learned were when problems happen, like understanding what those might be beforehand. And then if they do happen, understanding how much more money that is going to cost you in order to solve those problems, like dry rot, mold, um, rerouting plumbing is a huge one. Um, and then having the people in place that are going to be able to do those things and not charge you out the ass to do them. So I've had some
But
very
but
prissy.
you won't know that until you have more contractors.
Oh yeah, yeah,
You know
for
what I
sure,
mean?
for sure.
Like
It's one of
I
those
think
things that
you're
we only knew
going,
once we could compare it to other contractors.
but
Because
you're
at
going
first we're
too
like,
slow.
oh, this just sucks. Maybe we shouldn't do bathrooms. And then
No.
we found other people and they were like, no, it's not that we shouldn't do bathrooms. It's that these people were charging us an arm and a leg to do a bathroom for us.
So what I would tell you is, so the contractor group that I have is fine. You can do tile setters, kitchen installers, whatever. But I would tell you, whatever it is that you're working on that day, whatever that curved bathroom that you have, take a picture of it. Say, the measurements are like, 3.5 by 4 feet. I purchase all the materials. All we're looking to do is the labor install. Labor is going to be like brick pattern 1/2, blah, 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 floor to ceiling. And I'm going to have a pan instead of doing tile. But I
Yeah.
would tell you that's what I ended up doing for Enfield as well as Haverhill Street, apples to apples comparison. And I can show you my entire rehab folder, like gutters alone. I posted and I had like 35 people reaching out to me about 10 different quotes that like very quickly I sent them pictures and they sent me stuff back. And anywhere from like $10 a linear foot all the way up to like 25 and 42. The person I picked cost me like 1,500, did a bomb job, bomb.com job. But like I could have spent anywhere from like 1,500 up to 5,600. And I wouldn't know that had I not posted that one singular job and then had people, you know, bidding it apples to apples comparison. So I'm telling you, maybe I'm going to rewrite the post that I gave you, and I want you to just have it submitted. And I don't care if you go with people or not. All you have to do is tell them like, thank you for quoting my job. I'm moving forward with somebody else. I hope to work with you in the future, but get a number from people. Just figure out where the fuck they are. And my favorite people are the people that will like chase you up the A. They're going to be like, I want to work with you. Like my painter that I work with, this one stood in front of me and was like, I don't care what your budget is. I want to show you what I can do. And I was like, he said it to me like 5 times. And then I was like, all right, already, I'll give you a chance. And he was brilliant, 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 brilliant. But you either have the really tenacious people that want to work with you. The Brazilians are amazing. And then also apples to apples comparison. The hungriest people, let them win.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit different because I think like you have a larger time window doing a flip than you do like running a business for a customer, because customers' expectations are different from your own. And then your timelines are also very different. So like when I am selling a job, I have to give them a timeline, and then anything that's outside that timeline, they're gonna be pissed to shit. And then it's like a headache that I have to deal with. So yeah, I mean, it's like a lot of the same principles when it comes to understanding the start to finish and the costs and like what your desired outcome, like same thing with the flip versus a remodel singular project. Like, hey, I'm going to take on whatever this thing is. I'm hoping to make X amount at the end. What is my cost for materials going to be? What's my cost of labor going to be? What's my timeline? I think if I can share anything, things that have helped me tremendously is when you don't understand something, break it down into simpler steps. So with pricing, and same thing when I get quotes from people, I'll try and exclude materials if I can find them, or if I'm supplying them myself. And then once I do exclude those, I will look at what it is that they're charging me. I will then like reverse engineer an hourly cost. So like if they say the job's going to take them a week and a week is expected to be 40 hours and they said that it was going to be 1,500, I'm like, okay, what is that in an hour? And does that make sense for them to do whatever task it is that I'm asking them to do? And if it's outlandish, which like when I reverse engineered one of the guys who I was using for our bathroom remodels, it was like $350 an hour when I reverse engineered it. And in my head, I'm like, that's fucking insane. That doesn't make any sense. So
I would tell you same thing that I told Keith. Rather than you on your side trying to figure out how everything works, you need to involve the person that you're working with. So instead of assuming it's an hourly rate and then you being like 350 is outrageous, like one of my favorite expressions is help me understand. Help me understand why the fuck that's so goddamn expensive. And then at this point, I might baby white lie and just say, I have another guy who'll do the job for 6,000. I don't know if he's too good to be true or what he's doing differently, but like, help me understand why your pricing is the way that it is. I'm happy for you to make money. I want you to make money with me, but we have to be at a place where we're both making money. And right now it doesn't seem to be the case.
yeah,
So
a lot of
how do
these
we
guys
get?
a lot of these guys I've found have just been like they're in the business too, and they're like, oh yeah, they're kind of dismissive of the questions. Because I have had those questions with them, and then it turns into this like weird roundabout, and then they sit there with you and they try and like fake
Hang
cross
on.
it out and say, okay, I can do it for this. So like,
Besnick, go ahead, unmute. So Besnick is over in Boston. Mark, I don't know if you know him. He flips multifamilies, and he has his own shit. He's been at the meetups. He's not in sub two, but he's a brave little one out there, and he's been very helpful. He set me up with the plumber that I love, who sometimes doesn't show up, and I want to choke slam him, but I also fucking love Carlos. So it's a very vicious relationship I have with him. But
Did you
Besnick,
use them again? Did you
I
use them
did.
for the end?
I did because the permit was open. And so I ended up in a place where I was paying other people to get the work done. But then I'm like, shit, he needs to close out his permit. So I got to go back to him. So I Anyway, I love him, but he drives me nuts. So I gotta figure him out.
Same with me. He's like, "Oh, I'll be there right at 7, Nikki," and then I waited for him on hours, and then I yelled
Yeah.
at him. He's like, "Oh, come on, I'll send some guys." I'm like, "You told me you're gonna be there." Yeah, he always does that.
So you as a flipper, you working with contractors, right? So Lee is in the same business.
Yes.
Lee, I would almost tell you your business is somewhat easier because you don't have to pay rent for the property. The hardest, the rent that you have to pay is keeping your seller's temperament in check when timeline is not being managed well, right? But you at least don't have that cost. Like we have that cost if we're owning a property. And then technically you are babysitting contractors, which is kind of what you're doing. But the other cool part is because you are, what do you call yourself? You're a distributor for cabinets and tiles?
I mean, yeah, we can do that, but I would
But
just say that
what do you call it that you have the direct relationship that nobody else can have? Like I can't have the
yeah,
relationship
we're a
that you
distributor. Yeah.
distributor. So
So
you're a
like the
distributor.
way that manufacturing works, like the supply chain is in order for them to basically make sense of their margins and their relationships, they put up this like barrier to entry. So unless you pay them money for display materials and then have a physical showroom, then they won't allow you to be set up with them as a distributor. So they won't even provide you products, and then they don't sell direct to consumer whatsoever. And so when they do that, they're able to basically simplify their operations substantially because it's a statistical, like logistical fucking nightmare to
Mm.
distribute direct to consumer unless you're Jeff Bezos. Um, so
So let's go back a minute.
yeah,
If you were to summarize your current problem, your biggest problem that you're having, how would you summarize your biggest problem in like one or two sentences?
affordable, reliable, quality craftsmanship, and I'd say
You have that because you're already a distributor. You need installation.
that's why I said craftsmanship, not product.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I'm satisfied with the products that we have. I think that at least for now, I don't see any reason of us having to do anything with that.
So
Um,
affordable, quality, reliable, crafts workmanship, install it.
workmanship. Yeah.
Yep. Is that it?
Um, and marketing, lead gen. I think our lead gen is super, super fucking old.
Yeah.
We're still buying Angie's leads.
Yeah.
So
Resnick, advice for him in wrestling contractors. How do you wrestle your contractors in a winning way?
Oh man, I mean, I've used the same. So the first project I did, I managed the whole project myself. So one of the lead guys was my cousin, who I still love. So I used him, and then he did my tiles, he did my kitchens. I had the plumber. I used Carlos to do that first job, so he was great. He had a huge team back in the day. So uh, I I mean, again, this that was my first project. So when I got quotes from plumbers, Carlos is and he was highly regarded by a guy who's a GC in the Boston area. And Carlos is his go-to plumber. I
Mhm.
know, man, a Brazilian guy. So he introduced me to Carlos, and then others, I basically, it was just referrals. I had a guy to sand my floors. I had one of my friends do the actual floors because I put some new floors. I kept some old ones. So I hired some Vietnamese people to sand my floors. Apparently, they're the best. So everyone recommends a Vietnamese if you're like sanding floors.
I don't recommend my guy. I've had a argument in Google Translate with him that made me want to blow my brains out. And
that's
then I
my
thought,
one of my issues right now.
oh my God.
I have
I
a
had,
Venezuelan crew, and it's really
yeah.
difficult trying to translate.
So
They-
the guy I used, he was great. He was recommended by my,
What's his name?
I don't know his name. He was 4 years ago. I have his phone number saved. I haven't used him
Okay.
since. But then
You better cough it up if he was that good.
a lot of contractors I've used, they're close friends, and one of them, who's my cousin, who works in construction here in Boston for like the union. So he's not shady. So he was charging me hourly. I was buying the materials and he was doing the work. So, and I trusted him with everything. So on my second project, I used my friend who was my GC, and he really pushed my buttons a couple of times. I wanted to punch him in the face, like legit. He pissed me the worst way, dude. Holy shit, dude. They installed. So between him and the electrician I used, where the dishwasher was, the dishwasher didn't have an outlet in the back.
Yeah.
So the cabinet was installed and the countertop was already installed, right? Where the dishwasher was, there was no outlet to plug it in.
Yeah.
So I go over, I'm like, where is the outlet? They're like, oh, it's not here. It's in the corner of the kitchen. So it was angled. So the outlet was here in the corner, and my dishwasher was like 8 feet this way. And then they wouldn't change. He's like, I'm not taking off the countertop because I have to pay again. And the dish that this is where the electrician said the dishwasher goes here where I have it, but there was no outlet. They covered the outlet with the cabinets. So what they ended up doing is they extended like an extension cord, if you will, for like to the corner, and that's what they ended up doing. I'm like, holy shit, dude! Like, what is this? Neither guy would move, and I hired the electrician, not the GC, so they were clashing the whole way, dude.
Yeah.
These old pricks. I'm like, you guys are like 50 years old. What are you guys doing? Like, you little children. Like there was a few things where they pissed me off in the worst way. Like I just couldn't do it. So, but again, what I learned is I got to communicate well or better and not let them step over me. So I let it go. I'm like, he's like, well, if you want to pay for the countertop again, we'll move it. We'll, the cabinets. I'm like, really? I have to pay for it? And neither guy would take responsibility because he's like, well, the dishwasher was here. No, it's here. It was here. Now we put the walls up. Everything else went up. What am I gonna do at this point? Like I'm like, really, guys?
So usually what I tell them when they get into a pissing fight like that, where it's like my fault, your fault, whatever, I usually tell them like, I don't give a flying fuck whose fault it was. How do we fix it? What's the best and easiest way to fix it? I usually put all my contractors on one group chat so there's no bullshit. I don't want you to have to call me to call him. You can talk to each other like adults. And then, Mark, you don't have to raise your hand. You just talk. You're fine. But yeah, so I put them all in contact with each other and then try to put a saddle on them and make them focus on how we fix things. We can go back in time and unpack things. And then the other thing that I'll also say is like, if you are being shitty and if you're not being a team player, I will never use you again. Never. And I do sit on a little bit of a throne just because I do have a lot of friends because of what I did for Sub 2 New England. And people know that I know people and I make a lot of introductions and referrals. So they usually tend to act right. I don't get people that are that shitty to me.
No,
but yeah.
I mean, again, the GC is one of my good friends for over 20 plus years, but I didn't know he was stubborn like that. I'm like, are you fucking serious, dude? You're gonna do that?
Even then, even if they're your best friend, they can also be having a bad day. So like one of my friends is a GC. I've never fought like I fought with him on this house. And I will tell you right now, I know it's not my fault. I tell him all the time, it's a fucking privilege to work with me. And so if you don't want to act that way, that's fine. We don't have to work together. But I know my shit is good. I know I take good care of you. I know I pay you on time. I do other like girly things where I clean up after them. I always make sure there's a bathroom with like, toilet paper and nice smelly things. I always make sure there's a table and chairs for them to have their lunch at. I give them waters. I put treats out for them. Like, I know I'm good. So if ever they're being shitty, sometimes they're just in a mood. I'm just saying, like,
No,
they got other shit going on at home.
I mean, I was literally taking them next door. The property I lived was in South Boston, so there was a bunch of coffee shops on Broadway Street, and my house was literally behind Broadway. So I was going there, getting them Starbucks, taking them out to lunch like every week, paying them. Like, and it's not like I didn't trust them, but like the communication wasn't always there. Like they would communicate with the electrician, and they both were working together when I'm not there. Like, well, can you call the electrician and tell him he's screwed up? I'm like, was he there today? Yeah, he was. why didn't you talk to him right there and then? Like, you're physically in the same goddamn house.
Mm.
Calling me, I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do now?
But you're the parent, you're the mom or the dad. You know what I mean? It's what it comes down to. So and that's also why I don't like doing jobs that like are over an hour away, because I will show up on site and I will be like, bitch, you talk to me. What the hell is happening? I told you to your goddamn face, this is what we're doing, and then you put a pipe straight through my door frame. So who's drunk here? Not me. It's you.
I mean, I'm 10 minutes away from this house. I'm always there. Like, I was going, even when I didn't need to go there, because they're my friends. I would go in there, hang out with them while they're working, get them coffee, hang out. Like, he was not like that. And but I learned next time to manage better. And next time, because I got some quotes for like plumbing and I mean the electrician and someone else that were through the roof. So then I hire them versus the GC. I'm never doing that again because I'm not going to manage the electricians and the GC. And then no, you when I bring you in,
You can manage, but just know that it's a job to manage. That's the premium that you're paying. If you pay more for the GC, then the GC is the babysitter and not you. But then that obviously there's a cost to that. Keith, do you have any advice as to contractors, because you're doing your own flips and then you're a contractor yourself? How do you keep people on a leash?
I just do. I'm very thorough what I go through when I want them to do. And people say I'm kind of intimidating, I guess, or something. I don't know.
Let
But
me ask you this. What was the last problem that you ever had with the contractor?
um I fired him. The last problem I had with a contractor was on a flip we were doing, we put a lot of times instead of doing a tear off, if there's only one layer of roof, I'll just strap it and metal it. Okay, save me the cost of tear off. It's a nice roof, 20 years, you know. But when the boys are doing that, if it's got if it doesn't have gable vent, so it's got soffit vent, you got to take when they put their last piece of strapping up, they usually put it right up tight to the your ridge cap. Well, you got to rip your ridge cap off on a metal roof. Then you put your metal cap on and the ventilation works. Well, this son of a bitch never did that. He never ripped the ridge cap off. He put up, and I went for an inspection, and there was mold almost starting to grow in my friggin' attic. And I said, I went and saw him.
You went and what
Yeah,
him?
I went and saw him myself. This was not a phone call. This was personal. Yeah,
Yeah.
I went and called, because I had to put gable vents in the friggin' thing. That's the only thing I could do. Wasn't gonna rip the roof back apart, you know? So I had to put new gable vents in the fucking thing. That was my last nightmare I ever had. It was
So
stupid, but,
you paid for the mistake because you had to
oh
go back
yeah.
and okay. So you didn't make him pay for it. You just fired him and you'll never work with him again.
Exactly, yeah, yeah. You piss somebody off like that, I don't want them doing work for me. You know what I mean? I just, don't need you.
I got a
Where
question.
do you draw the line between coaching somebody up to be a better contractor and straight up firing them?
Craftsmanship. You can tell if someone takes pride in what they do.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? My father once taught me, don't care if you're sweeping the floor, you do it right or don't do it at all. Very simple. You know what I mean? Very simple. And if they don't take pride in their work, then I don't want, you know what I mean?
uh, can I jump in for a quick second?
Yeah, absolutely.
So my electrician, who he did both of my projects, he's great. Like, he personally is great, and he does great work. When he was working on my project, he like delayed me for like weeks, and he's like, I got two guys that quit on me. Like, I'm short on staff. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm like, you're holding me up. Like, we can't do anything else. He literally held my project delayed me over a month.
Yeah.
Am I not nice? Like, I was actually way too nice. I still did not fire him. He was like halfway through. And then he's like, Nick, I got guys quitting on me. I understand that. Like, I get it. But at what point is it too much for me to like just wait around? He's like, oh, I'm short. I'm in this project. I got too many going on. Like, I understand he's trying to make money. So am I. But like, if you're spread out so thin, now it's my cost. It's my time. I'm on a hard money loan, dude. I'm paying 11% on the money I gotta pay for the lender. It's not free for me. Like you just said, we pay rent on the project. Like,
So
and
there are some people that I've seen them pay. So I gotta ask friends that are doing this more. Stratton, I don't know if I don't think you flip too much. You just do wholesale contracts, right? But I think apart from like a couple of other flips that happen, I don't know that you hire direct contractors.
Me? You talking to me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we've done about a handful, about 5, I think 4 or 5. 5? 4? 4? 4? Yeah, I don't do it often though. I don't enjoy it. Jordan and I don't really enjoy it.
What do you not enjoy about it?
Everything that you guys are talking about. Pretty much.
Babysitting men. Yeah.
You know, just running into the same issues that you guys were talking about. One thing that I started to learn is you get what you pay for. And I feel like I approached a lot of the 4 flips. Each one of those 4 flips, I made the same mistake, and I had a scarcity mindset with it. And I was like, I was more concerned about getting somebody in there and saving costs. And that ended up always biting me in the ass. Instead of just paying somebody more that has a better reputation, that has better reviews, whatever, and getting somebody better, higher quality, kind of in there, and it bit us in the ass like every time.
Where are
I don't
you
know.
finding your people?
So each one was different. So the 2 down south in Nashua and Hudson, that was like those kind of happened around the same time. So we pulled some contractors over for different things. I think we found a couple really good ones through realtors, actually. Some like really like well-established realtors that have been a realtor for 30 years, you know what I mean? And they know like
That's
yeah.
my favorite. Yeah.
Yeah,
Rita.
and so we would go to that. Yeah, we went to a lot of realtors actually. That's pretty much where we found them, right?
Yeah, and then just other like contacts we've had of contractors like
Yeah. Yeah.
and-
Yeah. So kind of contacting realtors and other contractors and stuff like that, and being like, hey, who would you recommend? Who have you worked beside? On a whole bunch of different projects, and kind of finding the people that way, I guess.
I don't think that's bad. I mean, one of the electricians that I worked with was 32,000 for the Andover house. The guy settled on was 12,500. So $20,000 difference. I did pay for it because he worked weekends and nights. Sweet guy, but same thing. And Besnick, I did have trouble with like keeping them on time, where I was like, motherfucker. But at the same time too, like that's the decision that I made, is because I chose this guy at this price, this was the trade-off for it. So I do see what you mean. Like when I have friends now that are flipping houses within like 60 days, and I feel like a piece of shit because mine took 8 months. And I'm like, what am I doing? I'm giving birth to something, yes, but like it doesn't need to be all that. So
so 12,000 to pay for the material costs?
12,000 everything, 12,500. I'll put you in contact with him. His name is
what?
Peter. Who said what?
Yeah, to do what?
Everything. So it was a full gut, which made, so I get recessed lighting with dimmer switches. I
Oh,
had
you're just talking about electrical?
yeah, all electrical.
Okay.
Yep. New service, new panel, all new recessed lighting. I have a electric stove. He did my microwave. He did my dishwasher. Your dishwasher can be hardwired. It can also have the little dishwasher plug. In the event that the dishwasher shits the bed, you just unplug it and put something new in, versus if it's hardwired, then you got to get an electrician involved. So having like a separate outlet is nice. But yeah, he's great. But again, he has a full-time job. He works nights and weekends. I get him when I get him. Sometimes I don't get him. And That's a little bit tough. Yeah.
They can't work. In Boston, you can't, especially in South Boston, Saturdays they can work. If they work on Sunday, I'm getting fined, or they're getting fined because
Really?
their permit is on. When they get signed off, even my plumber's like, because my permit said you can work Monday through Saturday, not Sunday. Other parts of Boston, the plumbers, I mean, the contractors, they know where they can get away with weekends. I'm talking
Yeah.
about Sundays specifically. So that's great that in Andover you're able to work Sundays.
I
Inside,
don't do fucking mass.
getting away with that. The neighbors are called in the city.
Oh, I think that's the problem with Boston is like the population density is so tight that you get the neighbors that are gonna run their mouths. Yeah. In Andover, I don't think that's a thing. And then that guy is licensed out of Worcester. So maybe that's not a thing for Boston. Yeah. Are you buying? What are you working on now for you?
Me?
I'll be
Yeah.
right back.
I
Go ahead.
well, I wanted. There was this house in Revere where I live. It went under agreement today. It was a 2-family, almost 3,000 square feet home. I went and saw it. I don't have the funds for it right now, and it's sold already.
Mm.
It was a light rehab, straight buy and hold with parking. Literally,
Who gave the lead? Where's the lead from?
oh, it was just. It was on Realtor.com. It was on
On
MLS.
market?
Yeah, 6-bed, 2-bath, 2 floors, 3.1 with
So
parkings.
what was the purchase price, and then what was the plan for it?
The purchase price, they were asking $850. So I don't know what it sold. It literally went under agreement today. They had house Saturday, Sunday, and yesterday. It was for me. I would have kept it. First floor was 3.1. There wasn't much for you to add a second bathroom because I always want to add as many bathrooms as I can. I don't like one situation.
Yeah.
Second floor had a massive living room and then had the bathroom and then the bedroom. So my plan was if I were to buy it to make the living room a little smaller and put a second bathroom there back to back and make it 3-2. You had 4 parking spots, a clean yard. 2970 was the square footage, almost 3,000 for both units. It would have been a buy and hold. Probably can get about 35 a unit in Revere, and just a straight buy and hold. I mean, 850 was. I don't know what it sold for, but I know it sold around there, if not over asking.
Yeah. So what's next for you? Are you buying something else? Are you on the hunt for something?
Not right now because I'm super broke, but
Even if you had a better lender, or you would need a financial partner, because I'm sure you have access to lending, no problem. It's just the buy-in portion of it.
the buy-in and then holding costs. I mean, my last project, I carried it for 8 months. So yeah, I mean, we have to carry it. So even at 10%, 10% down on 850, it's 85 grand plus plus closing, and then rehab costs, and then holding it. So you probably need like $140, $150 just to carry it to the end.
Yeah.
Definitely a financial partner for sure.
Stratton, what about you? How come you don't flip because you don't like to babysit men, and you just wholesale contracts?
Wholesaling, and this year, so we
commercial stuff.
wholesaled. What's that?
The commercial stuff.
Commercial stuff. And then we're trying to get into doing some co-living this year. So doing some buy and holds. We just bought a buy and hold on market a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
So creatively got it subject to. And
that was an agent lead?
Yeah. So we had it on both sides actually of our system. We had it in our DTA side, and it was also in our foreclosure side. So we kind of had a little bit of background on it and stuff. So but yeah, it was just built like 3 years ago, and it was, needed cleaning, painting. And that was pretty much it.
So when you say co-living, what kind of co-living are you hoping to do?
For young professionals, really, is like what I'm looking at. Like some not like college students or anything really like that. So it's
do you guys have feedback on your speakers? No. Okay. Good. Sorry.
Hey, nice
Sorry.
hat, nice hat, bro.
You like that? Some big
Yeah.
guy gave it to me.
Where's my hat?
Do you wear
For
hats?
my,
I'll give
for
you a
my
hat.
receding hairline and my male pattern baldness. I have a new standard, which is if you have merch and I don't have it in my wardrobe,
Whoa.
I know.
We got some
Easy,
merch for
Whoa.
you.
easy,
Oh,
Sharky.
mosquito bites. Oh my God.
Wow.
Heaven forbid.
You just
just
made my
saying,
heart
like-
skip a beat.
If you
I
have
just looked
merch
up
and
real
I
quick
don't
and thought
got
you were
it, you're
pulling your
out.
boobs out. I was like, what the
I'm just
fuck?
kidding. Sorry,
Because
sorry.
this color of the shirt.
Hercules. I know, Corey, you're so excited. It's okay. You
Yeah,
got lots of chicken breasts at your house. Go look at those tits if you want something.
I did. I looked at them today. Slapped them all too.
Massage them, beg them for some eggs.
They give me eggs, a couple here and there. Nothing crazy yet.
So, Keza, you have merch?
I do.
What kind of merch you have now? Because you keep changing these names left and right.
So I have a hat. It's basically just like this, but it has my logo.
It's not
hold
as
on, real
nice.
quick.
It's in bricks or what?
That looks like a nice one. Where'd you get that through? Like what custom place?
Where did we get these?
I
Yeah,
forget.
yeah, these are our hats, actually. He can't take credit. These are ours.
Is that
Right, right,
that's the leather patch one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so mine's
Those are hot.
the rubber, like where's the camera here? PVC rubber type.
Make it closer. What does it say? Oh yeah, investor link.
Yeah. Those ones.
And you got
Then I
those through
have Keza
Brandon
Team.
Bills, right?
I'm making Keza Team hats and basically the same thing as that, just with the Keza Team logo. And then I have t-shirts and I have like pullovers for Keza Team.
I'm making a hot pink shirt that says Creative Elite on it. It's gonna be the most, is it demasculating, emasculating? It's the most like flamboyant shirt you'll ever have, but
My
it'll
guy
be for me.
Hector has all hot pink shit, and it's great.
Oh yeah, I love that guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
mine is gonna have "This ain't your daddy's real estate," hearts, hearts, hearts everywhere. It's gonna look like pink vomit everywhere. Anyway, all of you, okay, you're welcome. That's my gift to you. Stratton, you got the Unlocked Home Project. Besnick, get some merch. You too, Keith Lyons, CL Homebuyers. Where's my merch? That's my new friendship standard. If I don't
I'm
have
gonna
merch
mail
for
you some merch.
you're dead to me. You
Oh, I
don't
got
exist.
these too.
Do you
These are
only
cool,
want
huh?
like shirts, or you don't wear hats, right?
Yeah, I hate hats. I don't have a good head.
All
There
right,
we go.
we'll get you some. We'll get you a t-shirt or something.
I'll check it out. I also got these.
I'll be in the bar showing everybody. I'm like, wait, come here. You
Got some
see
coasters.
my mosquito bites. Ah!
Check that out.
Women gone wild. So there's a site actually that Anthony McTizick gave me. So Anthony gave me his interesting brand, right?
Yeah.
So I finally got a shirt from him.
Nice.
His thing is Mark, I sent it to you. What is it? Shopify? Something like
Oh,
Shopify?
Did you? Yeah, I need something.
I'll get the
Awesome.
link and I'll send it to you. But like his whole thing was, I guess he took a course back in the day as to how to create like custom merch. But the whole thing is like he creates the design and it's kind of like print on demand for merch. And then people just order directly, but it's super inexpensive. So the shirts that he has is like, I don't know, $7 a piece, but it's like high quality and yeah. Bye, Kathy. Kathy was a sponsor at Creative Elite, by the way.
Oh,
Does
nice.
everybody know Kathy?
I have to see your face.
She would, well, her face was at Creative Elite. I have her on a slide deck. Kathy, if you wanna show your face, you're welcome to do so. She's cooking dinner, but she was one of the sponsors at Creative Elite.
Printify. It was Printify.
Printify,
Okay,
that's
yeah,
right,
yeah.
not Shopify, Printify. Kathy, you're good. You gotta unmute. I'm gonna ask you to unmute. And then how
you
did
hear
you
me?
find us? Yeah, how did you find us for Creative Elite? Are you Stratton's friend? Or
I wasn't going to come on the camera because I'm in like half in my pajamas, and I made dinner for my daughter who's eating late. So I don't know. It just came up, and your name keeps popping up, and I remembered you from that event, whatever it was, a couple of years ago, right?
Creative Elite was 2020. Oh my God, 2 years ago.
Was it
422,
Yeah.
2023.
Asian
Yeah.
girl
Another
with
one.
Crocs?
What?
So
Was it Asian girl with Crocs? Is that what you remembered?
Fuck you. Excuse me.
maybe,
Yeah,
maybe.
that's
No,
my
she didn't.
brand, Asian Girl Crocs.
Oh, that's so hysterical. Yeah, so no, I can barely talk. I'm so exhausted. So I wasn't going to come on, but I really enjoyed listening to everybody, and maybe I can come another time and talk more. I'm a realtor, but I'm much more interested in the what you guys are all talking about.
The
And so
investment side of things.
I'm looking for deals, and I'm on the South Shore, and for some reason I thought you were too, Suzanne. Maybe you had a
I was. I
Oh,
I'm having
okay.
a identity crisis. I bought a foreclosure 2 years ago for my dog. And then
Oh,
now I'm in the North Shore and my brand's all messed up because I was like, I'm Rhode Island. And then everybody's like,
yeah,
you're,
that's
you're
right.
I
North
do
Shore, New
remember
Hampshire.
you actually. I still have your card. And I saw it the
Yes.
other day.
Kathy
Wait a minute.
Hoy.
Who's saying that? Who's saying that?
That's Corey Keza. Corey
Oh yeah,
Keza. He
Corey.
was,
Yeah.
I remember you. Yeah.
yep.
Oh, that's so funny. So
Yeah.
I
Kathy,
think at the
how'd you find us though?
just now, I was
No, no,
on
no, no, no,
Face.
no, no. For Creative Elite 2 years ago, how did you find us?
Oh. So my friend Ted Duncan, do you know him? Ted?
Ed
Yes.
He
Duncan.
invited me.
Yeah.
He's Vermont. Ted Duncan is Vermont.
No, he's in Boston, but he's a sub two. He's my buddy. Sub two.
I might know. The name is super familiar.
Yeah. So I've been to a couple, and yeah. So you have to come
So
back to the South Shore. I need some people down here.
South Shore, where South Shore?
So I'm in Norwell. My office is in Hanover. I actually at that
Okay.
time I was in Cohasset at William Ravis.
I
But
like that. I like that brokerage.
yeah, William Ravis was very good. I just wasn't. So I grew up in Cohasset, and so when I started in real estate, I was said I'm going to work at that office because I'll know people. But I didn't love my particular office. And another Jack Conway is also owned by someone in Cohasset. Ironically, I went to high school with her, Jack Conway's daughter, so she recruited me. So it's a smaller company, and it kind of doesn't matter to me because I'm just holding my license and doing what I can, and I'm looking for deals, and I can wholesale or
Do you
fix and
own
flip.
something now? Do you
I
have?
own Well, I own my house in
Yeah.
Norwell, but no, I'm actually looking to wholesale, or I have some investors that, if I can find some foreclosures or something depressed,
Mark, why don't you tell her what you got going on?
What? Which part? You
Men, clueless men. Come on.
well, like
Tomorrow.
I'm going to
So
turn this off for a second.
you can
because
turn it off. But Kathy, if you're interested in wholesaling and you're doing stuff on the South Shore, so
Yeah.
Mark wholesales. He was wholesaling for a company that did everything like almost in Massachusetts. He drives a
Okay.
lot. He's been doing acquisitions for 5 years and he's well versed in the creative stuff. He actually now runs like a how to wholesale group on Wednesday
Oh,
nights. So Wednesday
okay.
nights, you can tap into him. He's a super nerd when it comes to all those paid programs. I think he spends about $800 to $1,000 a month on all his doohickey toys, but he has them. And so if you have a lead or you have something you're working on or something's just like stuck in the pipeline and it won't cross the finish line for whatever reason, or you have something that's half baked or you have barely a lead, I would definitely say if you're available on Wednesdays to touch base with Mark, because he has these office hours in which he'll handhold you to get you across the finish line so that there's actual money or there's actual purchasing possibilities within the transaction.
Well, that's great. That's great to know. And so I don't see your number, I don't think, Mark.
I
I'll
just
text
put
you.
my blank card in the chat if you have it there. That'll be
Oh, okay.
my contact info. But no, because I
Sure.
also am getting South Shore leads. Like I just signed a deal in Wareham last week that would have been a good one, right? But like I'm hitting all
Oh,
probate stuff, and like a
good.
lot of it seems to be South Shore.
Oh, well,
So
I'm
but
here.
I can keep you in mind for that. And yeah, obviously, if you want to hit the Zoom tomorrow, it'll be my first one. So like I don't have an
Okay.
agenda. I'm literally just
Okay.
kind of like hoping people have questions and like we can go over stuff. So I'm not the best at like planning and all that stuff, but I'll be there.
I think it's great. I mean, I like everybody's just very genuine, and I loved how, that's what it takes. And you have a nice leader there getting you guys talking, and you know, that's what it takes. So So I'll see what I can do. What time is it at?
6 to 8.
Okay, so is this Printify? Is this your card?
No,
Nope,
Kathy,
the second one down.
I'm gonna
Sorry.
I can put you on a group chat together because I have your information.
Okay.
So I can introduce you. That's not a problem. But then, yeah, find him on his Blink because he has a whole Facebook group. He has
Oh
Instagram.
yeah,
But yeah, touch
sure.
base with him. His company is called Local Home Offers, but then Mark Gullifer out of
I see.
Seacoast, New Hampshire.
Yeah, I'm in Seabrook right now. Everything is brandy new. I think there are about 15 people in my group, maybe. So it should
Wow.
be a nice intimate class setting. But I'm gonna open it up to everybody. I'll be posting on my story tomorrow and whatever. So
Well, it'll be great to hear. So, and you said 6 to 8?
Yeah.
yes.
Cool. All right. Well, Suzanne, thank you.
Nice to see
And
you, Kathy.
you too.
Tell Ted I don't know him. He doesn't exist in my world. And so
Yep.
if that hurts him, that he should call me and say hi or something.
Maybe next time, is this your first one? Have you done this? Have you been doing this?
So a long time ago, 2021, not March, 4 years ago, I used to do these all the time, and I miss them because just like this, if it's a small group of people, people just want to work on things. It's an environment for you to be seen. It's an environment for you to be heard. It's kind of like real estate therapy sort of deal, but for me, I find them to be very helpful because I wouldn't do anything by myself. I would think that I was doing something, but I actually wasn't taking action. And so coming in every week and having people that I respect and kind of having to tell them like what I'm working on changed things for me. I started taking action. So for
Oh,
me,
cool.
this is a selfish thing that I do for me that I like having friends in real estate, period. And then I like knowing what you got going on because it inspires me or it gives me ideas or we're exchanging
Yeah.
ideas. So that's why I do it. You're welcome to come and go as you please. If you find zero value in it, then please, for the love of God, go spend your time where
For
it
the
matters
love of
most.
God. Thank you.
For the
Oh,
love
no,
of God.
absolutely. No, I mean, accountability, that's, I liked the way you started out where, if you're not going to be doing anything, don't really
Little bit
bother.
mean, a little bit mean because the other thing that I'll say is
It's good.
people that try is good enough for me because I know being perfect and whatever is not exactly attainable, but people that are willing to try, I think for me, I give a lot of value to that. So I'm looking for people that are trying to be great, trying to do good work, making mistakes and trying to be better. That's what I care about.
So when's the next one?
Every Tuesday,
Oh.
8 to 10.
Cool beans. All right. Well, thanks
Thanks.
everybody, and take it easy.
All right. Bye,
you
Kathy.
later.
Good night.
Bye.
Okay. Take care.
Yeah. Yeah. So time is now 9:36. One of the things that I am interested in is the big goal for the year. What's the big thing that you're trying to accomplish? That's what I want to know because I need to make one for myself. Or I have one and every year I failed at it for like the last 10 years now. So now
Pass
I
the
don't want to
LSAT.
pass the LSAT.
Well, at least get a good score on the LSAT.
So let's say at a minimum, you have to take the LSAT. I don't think they're all the time though, right? It's certain
No, it's
times
like
out of
2
the
or 3
year.
times, 3 to 4 times a year, maybe 3. I have to
What are
take it in order to get into law school.
What are the dates for the LSAT?
The next one's in April, but April and August. April, June, and August, I think. Either way, there's 2 or 3 more, and
Which one are you attempting?
it's gonna have to be whatever the latest one is, August, I think, or
Do you want
June
to
for the July term.
Do you want to attempt June? And if you fail, then you got one more chance? Because you're saying your goal is to pass the LSAT.
Yeah, well, it's like between 120 and 180, but if you get anything near a 120, like you might as well just do it again. You know.
All right, so pass the LSAT.
I say like a 155 plus on the LSAT.
And you're going to target the August one, or do you want to try to do the June one?
Next LSAT dates. Let me see here.
All right, you work on that Leviator.
Yeah.
What's your big goal? You don't have to decide today, but do you have an idea as to what your big goal is for the year? Your year defining thing that you do.
Yeah, I mean, I think I have a couple.
No, one big, fat, juicy thing for the year. 2025 for Leviator means the biggest of them all.
Outlift me.
I could do that now.
That's fucked up.
I will come back to you. Marinate more. Your biggest one. What? Is that your think? Is that your thinking face?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's like it's a definitely a monetary goal. I think a lot
Oh,
of
that's
in
right.
order to reach that, I guess I could say, I don't know.
So
I
what's
get
the
caught
what's
in
the monetary
semantics.
goal?
Um, I say that I think it'd be easily attainable. I think that this year we can definitely break a million in revenue.
So
Nice,
1
dude.
million in revenue. How much did you guys do last year?
780.
Okay. So technically 780 was with two people, and that's
Well,
390.
780. Well, I mean, so when I came on, 280 of that was done in the 6 months prior to me being on the team. 500 of it was done in the 6 months after.
Oh, sexy. All right. So the goal is to do 1 million in revenue. Do you know
Mhm.
where you guys are at for quarter one? Because quarter one's almost wrapping up. What are you tracking for quarter one right now?
250.
250. That's not bad. You're right there.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So if this is easily attainable, are you saying that you don't have any other bigger goal than that one
Well, I think that like all my other goals are necessary in order to achieve that.
to complete it? But you also say that that is
My
easily
goals for
attainable.
our marketing, our systems, I think easily attainable, just like as long as I don't, as long as I
Fuck up.
just fucking work and do the things that I know that I need to do, I should be able to hit it.
Okay. Stratton, what about you? Your big fat juicy ass year defining accomplishment is what?
We set in place with our accountant this year to hopefully be on track to hit 1.4 this year revenue, and that's probably my big goal.
So you want to do 1.4 revenue this year. What'd you guys do last year?
Last year, I think we're about 6-ish.
600?
650.
650. Correction.
I love that Jordan is back there running the show. That's my favorite. Where it's like,
Yeah,
honey,
dude.
honey, what is life? I need to know. Hi. She's making an eyeball right now.
Yeah, don't worry about me.
That's exhausting.
He goes, "Don't worry about me, just growing some balls."
Yeah, two of them, hopefully, you know. We know it's a boy, so definitely two, maybe three. I don't know, maybe twins again.
No,
I don't know if I want to put that
Triplets.
on you. That's a lot.
definitely not.
All right, so 1.4 for revenue. How are you guys doing for quarter one?
About like what we do every year, right at this point, and that's hardly anything. Everything picks up second quarter. I mean, last year we did like probably like 500,000 in quarter three and quarter four. So right now, I think I don't know how many deals we haven't closed that many deals. 3, 4,
Three.
3 deals.
We'll have 4 by
Fourth deals, yeah, fourth deals Friday. So I don't know.
So
Maybe
you
100,000 right now.
you guys are doing what you did last year, or you're doing better than you did last year right now?
So we've completely, yeah. So we have all of this. We've had like all of these massive changes in projects that we started mid summer of last year, changing our CRM, getting into automations, getting into doing AI outreach, to What else are we doing? Adding additional lists that we're reaching out to hiring an executive assistant, to a new transaction coordinator, to doing direct to agent in a commercial division on our team, and pay per click. We're just ramping that up. That we had a couple setbacks. We have a new website coming out in about a week. SEO type stuff, a whole bunch of shit we've been working on for like the last 6 months. So it's all kind of coming into fruition here. In the next like 2 weeks, everything's getting launched.
Now, one thing I know you do specifically is you do a lot of like acquisitions training. Back in the day, that's what I knew you to do, and that's what I knew you to excel at. So Stratton has a background in psychology. He's really great on like onboarding, like training people up. But I was wondering if Mark is now offering this as something that he does with his 5-year background in acquisitions. I was wondering if there's any sort of overlap to where you could shuffle people his way to then work on some things, but then also like have your people skill up with Mark, if he's going to be offering that.
Yeah, so yeah, totally. I have a whole bunch of people that reach out to me, and I am not really big into like the JV model. It just doesn't align with our model, essentially. Like, we're building a team. I'm all about it and I support it, but I don't have the time to help a ton of people outside of my team, because I have like 11 people on my team now, right?
Yeah.
So that would be awesome. I mean, I just got off a meeting with a guy out here in Laconia that's looking into getting into wholesaling, and I kind of gave him some, tips and this and that, but I'm like, I don't have really time to do that. So yeah, I mean, I'd be happy to help in any way and help that grow for you, Mark.
And I know, so Mark he likes the JV model. Let me not speak for you, Mark. Go ahead. You do your thing.
I mean, I've never JV'd with anybody. It's probably more going to be me trying to teach them, and I'll just run the show with a deal and cut them a slice at the end, or whatever that looks like. But yeah, if there's definitely like people that you don't have, that like there's more promising people for you that you think will benefit you and bring in revenue, keep them. And if it's like not so much that, feel free to send them my way. And even if that is the case, like I'll profit share with you. Let's keep everybody happy, or whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
Just so you know, like, you and I have only chatted this briefly, like here and then last time. But if there's anything like creative style, like where I'm at or north, like you're who I'm calling. So
Cool, man.
just keep that in mind. Not that I've come across anything, but if I do, like you're like, from us not even talking, even like from weeks before this, you were the person that I would be calling anyway, just because I follow you, I see you guys on social and what you're doing, and I've never like really, I've done one sub 2, but it wasn't even for me, and whatever. So whoever you don't want to spend time on, I will.
I mean, and I run into people too. Like, I just like this kid. He would probably be great. Like, I have a lot of potential, like people, like a lot of good potential, like people that want to get into this and are reaching out, and I feel bad if I don't at least get on one meeting with them. So I always like give them as much as I can in like 30 minutes kind of thing, and then I'm like, check back in, you know what I mean? And I'd be happy to help. And then I drop the ball on people because I just end up getting busy and shit like that. So it'll be good to be able to send them to somebody else where, you would be able to kind of like groom them, teach them, educate them on this sort of stuff. Like this guy I met with from Laconia, he's getting out of doing like property management, and I'm like, I would probably hire him, but I just hired somebody 2 weeks ago, and I'm doing like I'm just getting through doing an intensive like 2-hour training a day for 10 days straight. And now it's down to like 1 hour a day. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to have enough freaking fuel in my tank after this training, you know what I mean, to bring on somebody else. He's good potential. You know what I mean? Like, he was a good kid, and looking into getting out of property management, wanting to get into wholesaling and learn about this sort of stuff. So
I mean, because I'm looking for people to call. I mean, to be honest, I'm not cold calling that much. I'm maybe cold calling 2 hours a day when I'm doing it, but like, I don't want to do it at all. So I don't know. Yeah, definitely keep me in mind. I'm more than happy to, whatever that looks like.
Cool, man.
In all honesty, back in the day, so when we were a lot smaller, I could take care of everybody. I knew everybody. Like, I spent quality time with people. But then when we got bigger, it was too hard to kind of give that kind of attention that I gave to everybody. It was just, it's like drinking from too many people constantly, nobody ever leaving. And so at some point I built that leadership team to take care of all the new baby people that were showing up. Because the other thing that I'll say is like me taking care of everyone pushed me to a place where now I'm a leader, but then me continuing to fill that role doesn't take me to the next level. So by putting people underneath me, having somebody like Mark be like, Mark, you want to do this, roll with it. He's going to grow and develop as people come into his pipeline and talk to him and he helps people. He's going to grow as a leader. And then you're helping Mark, you know, give him advice, be like, fucking no, and hell yes to this. And so now you become the leader of the leaders. And so that helps you grow in your leadership overall, as well as gives Mark the opportunity to grow in his
100%.
leadership by giving up that spot. You don't have to warm that seat forever. You need to move on to bigger and better things, and then create opportunities for others underneath you to have the opportunity you had, taking care of everybody and then becoming great at what you do now. So yeah, Mark is good people.
But also
Yeah.
like I'm not going to be like hiring anybody like any sort of salary position for any, like not for probably a while. So like even if I do get somebody trained up and you do have a position open or something, like pass them back your way, whatever that looks like, you know.
Yeah, or maybe you and I can work together. Who knows?
Yeah. Open.
You
Cool.
guys are good people. So my whole thing is I want to make good money with good people and have good friends. That's it. No bullshit, no weirdo stuff. You keep that in your basement. I don't want to know about it.
Corey.
All right. Huh? Corey?
Corey. Yeah, he's got
Corey?
weird
Oh,
stuff in his
Jesus.
basement.
I do.
Yeah, I know he's trapped in his basement right now.
I have
Living
objects
off
of the rubber variety down here.
Do they don't make
Keith
that out
didn't
of
laugh.
people have a rubber allergy.
Jonathan, wasn't that your thing?
Hold on.
Don't you have like a freak fest cabin?
Hell
Oh
yeah.
no, that's not me. No, that's not me. That's
Oh,
that guy on my. That's a guy on my
Could be.
team.
No.
that was cool, man.
I
Did you
saw
see that,
that and I
Suzanne?
was like, I think this is a joke. And then I was like, oh my God, it's not. This thing is, they were like, look at this thing and look at
Hey, it's just double the cleaning fees and we're good, you know?
Listen, we know people are doing that at Airbnbs and now he's encouraging it. And I don't think anything honestly is going to change. I just think people are like, I don't know.
I like it.
I'm
Yeah.
curious because I think that there might be like people don't pay attention to it, and then if you're pointing it out, then they're like more concerned, you know?
That's kind of weird too. Like if I was going to an Airbnb and it was designed for that, I would just be like, can you imagine you're in an Airbnb and the whole thing was black light and you just shut off the lights and you're like, oh my God.
It's probably like that anyways, but
just everything. And you're like, what has happened in these four walls? Anyway, interesting. Listen, it's an adventure. You don't know if it's a business model that'll pay off or not. I'm surprised by the things I've seen I haven't seen OnlyFans, but like I saw something the other day that I was like, oh, I got it now. I know what this is. But anyway, moving on. Keith, what's your big C-type goal for this year? Your year-defining 2025 goal?
I like to add 8 more rentals to my portfolio.
Where are you at right now?
16.
So you want to double.
Oh,
50.
What have you done so far this year?
Bought an Airbnb and done. We're on my second rehab. I got one sitting, so we'll have 3 rehabs.
You know what I was thinking? So Airbnb, are you liking Airbnb or what's going on with your Airbnb?
No, actually, I just tried it up north here where I am. I figured about snowmobiles up Millinocket, kind of where I come from.
Mhm.
But I got it up for sale now. I didn't do too much with it. So
I'm wondering, so we have I don't think you know Dylan Svetkik. That's not even his name, but Dylan, he used to have a big mustache and then shaved it off. He's a military guy. He's closer to like Groton, Connecticut. Just had a baby 16 months ago with his wife, Sarah. Anyway, he does corporate rentals. So insurance, people that are displaced because of insurance, he houses them. And so right now it's almost easier for people to go from Airbnbs it's technically midterm rental, but it's almost more profitable and less headache and nonsense to do that instead of long-term rentals. So you got your short-term with the Airbnb, you got your midterm with the corporate rentals, and then you get your long-term standardized stuff that you have right now. But I wonder if instead of having 8 more doors, right? Maybe what's your revenue with 8 doors? What was your revenue last year with 8 doors?
16 doors,
No. Oh, yeah. So you have 16 doors and then you want to add 8 more. So what was your revenue with 16 doors last year? Do you know the number?
just a little under 3.
300?
Yeah.
Okay. So if it was 300, then what I would tell you is if you could outdo that number, because technically you want to add 50% more. So if you could get up to 450 for this year doing corporate rentals, I'm not telling you not to buy more doors, but I'm also saying it might be another strategy to move from long-term to midterm, that might be another way for you to get to that number. So whether you add 8 doors or you add 400, you add an additional 150 in revenue to this year, you're still kind of meeting your goal, if that's your goal.
Yeah, I was almost thinking about doing that because in Bangor they've rezoned stuff, and I do happen to have one of my 4 units is in one of the rezones that we can do midterm and short-term rentals on. And but I mean it's full. I'm not gonna kick somebody out to,
Right. Or you can have I don't know, but you can have a conversation. It's not so much kicking somebody out, because the other thing that I'll say too is anytime, like I've heard about people getting fired because of the whole Trump thing and like devastating things happening to people, divorces and whatnot. Sometimes those things are blessings in disguise. Like the thing that happened with me and Z, like definitely pushed me to the next evolution of who I was by going through something not exactly pleasant or not exactly planned. So I would tell you, don't worry too much about kicking out people, because that's not what your intention is. You might be providing them an opportunity to move to where they actually want to go, or you might be providing opportunity to people that are also displaced because of, their house burned down or water pipe broke or something like that. So it might be even more emotionally rewarding to be providing housing to those people. At a minimum, what I'm saying is, let me introduce you to Dylan. Just have a conversation, because I don't know what's happening up in Bangor, but that might be another path to you getting what you want, which is more revenue overall. It's not so much to like have more and deal with more problems. If you could have less problems and more money, that might be a better path to go down.
Yeah.
So your big goal for this year is 8 more rentals, or instead of 300 like you did last year, 450 in revenue.
Yeah.
Okay. My C-type goal is I want kids. So the way that I write it is I'm going to impregnate one man. I don't need multiples. I just one. But yeah, I would really love kids, and I'm going to be 38 and I don't want to freeze my eggs. Everything else to me is life. I can go flip another house. I can go manage men and contractors. But I think for me, I think the most rewarding thing would be to have kids. That's what I want.
I like it.
Okay. So Corey Casa does the LSAT. Leviator is going to hit $1 million this year. Stratton 1.4. Mark, I know yours. That's why I didn't ask you, but why don't you tell everybody what your goal is?
Like minimum 250 in revenue would be great. Pay off my student loans would be great. Buy a camper van and take the fuck off would be great. Yeah.
How much are your student loans?
Like 38 right now. I paid
So
off
if you
like
hit
20
250,
last year.
if you hit 250, then you'll definitely be able to buy your camper van and pay off your student loans.
Yeah.
So hit
Yeah.
250, I think, is the C-type goal for you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm on track. I got like, I don't know, 70 in assignment fees so far with what I have going. So I'm spot on so far.
I was talking to Santiago today. He thinks he's going to do really well on the Havel house. So I'm just telling you that so that you know how to negotiate your assignment fee / your partnership with him, because you are providing a great opportunity for him.
I told him that he was cool. He was like, we can write it up, so whatever. I was like, nah, dude, this is how I'll work with you now. If it bites me in the ass, it bites me in the ass. So, but yeah, we'll be good. It'll be fine. I'm not worried about it.
And I gave you the numbers of the other Haverhill house, and you guys are that's a great deal.
Yeah, it should be fine. It'll sell over 500. Pretty confident of that.
And he does good work. His shit is not gross. So
yeah, I might have another good Haverhill lead from a buddy of mine, so we'll see how that goes. But
he does want unnecessary things though. He texted me, he's like, I did all these things to the kitchen, so it's gonna need to be remeasured. I was like, I'm not coming back out to remeasure the kitchen.
I have told him plenty of times that to me, you're
that
just
was that was a nicety the first time.
No, yeah.
But
he likes that. Like his style is like, I don't know if you've seen his wife. I always say with Veronica, she's the only person whose toes I would ever suck, and I'm pretty sure they would taste like strawberry daiquiris. She's the most beautiful woman on planet Earth. She wears like Louis Vuitton, Gucci, like she's amazing. But that's the standard. That's the standard. So his stuff is always a little bit extra, a little bit more, a little bit. He doesn't do gross stuff. It's nice. That's his standard. But I have told him before, somebody else measures, a local kitchen company person measures, and then sends you, and then you just execute the order, especially if you're doing it at the price point that you're doing.
Yeah.
And then again, if you're going to do more for him, charge accordingly, because he's the kind of person that he's happy to pay more for him to be pampered by you.
Yeah, well, so the thing is, he has a GC that does all this stuff. He's not even actually making those decisions really.
Is that Giovanni or
No, it's whoever the other dude is.
Alex Hansen?
Yeah. So that guy's the one who's actually making the decisions for the contractors.
Yo, Alex, so I have Alex's number. He's a
So
friend
Alex
of mine.
Hansen, I went and measured a kitchen with my brother for their
But
house.
you shouldn't have to. He can measure for you. He can give you the measurements.
No, I know.
Okay.
So
What
I
if
went out and he's like, well, this and this and this. So I was like, you know what? Sure, fine, whatever. I think I was like going to see my family in Saga. So I was like, sure, like I'll go over. So I made the trip to that place and then I sent him the quote for the cabinets to Alex. He was like, oh yeah, send it through Alex. He'll take care of it. He never even responded to me. So I was like, all right, dude, whatever. And then this last time you sent him back to me. And then he's like, oh, can you drive out and measure and do this? Like, I'm not able to go to the house. And so I was like, all right, well, I can't do it during the week. I don't have time for that. So I went out on a Sunday, drove down there like an hour one way, took the measurements, put that together the design work. And I was like, hey, man, you got a whole lot of issues going on in this space. Like this space is fucked. And so he found that out and then he ended up having to like remove a chimney and do all this other stuff and move vent work and all that. And so then he reached back out and he's like, hey, we did all these things that we had to do, and now the kitchen needs to be measured. So I have to have the conversation with him. I just haven't. I like saw it and was like, all right, I really don't have time to deal with that right this second. But
then you can tell him no. You can be like,
when I talk to him, that's what I'm gonna have to say because I'm not. If I were to charge him for that, it would no longer make sense. Like here's the situation. Like in order for me to give somebody a legitimate good deal for these projects, like I agree, going to me and getting my cabinets are going to be better, but not so much substantially where like me charging past X amount makes sense for somebody. And I understand that, like for somebody who's flipping the house. So when they're coming to me, the only way I can be like, hey, I'm going to give you a killer deal is if you have your guys who are already supposed to be on site, who are already supposed to be doing your work, who are already supposed to be able to take out a measuring tape and give me accurate measurements to give me the information so I can just place your order. And the biggest thing is like the follow-up. Like you said, once the cabinets are ordered and show up to the job site, if there's any issues, if there's any damages to any of the cabinets, scratches, scuffs, scrapes, anything, like you send that to me and I have you a replacement within a week. Whereas most places are going to tell you to go fuck yourself. And then you have to replace it and then you have to deal with that. So that's the biggest thing of what I try and tell people and like what you saw on your project of why it's like valuable for somebody to go through somebody like me to provide those materials, especially for something like a kitchen. but
Yeah.
I'm not making crazy money on selling cabinets.
No,
Like,
well, you're not making crazy
I'm
money
barely
if
making anything. It's like a very much, handshake agreement, buddy buddy, and then like you either send other people my way or you're there when I need something in return. And you've helped me a lot when it comes to referrals and contractors and advice and stuff like that.
but
And you put
but
my
I'm
name
also
out there. Like
telling you,
that's
like
way more valuable to me than the money.
my style for when I order from you is I design my own kitchen. I give you the cabinet list and you just place the order for me.
Yeah,
That's
exactly, which is why I gave you the deal that I did. Yeah.
and if there are mistakes, then I eat that because that's my shit. That's not yours. Because I fucking gave you an order, you placed it, and that's it.
Mhm.
But if he's asking for more, if he's asking you to come out and measure, if he's come out and design, you charge him for that.
Yeah. He's just not going to pay it though. And I don't blame him either because it doesn't make sense for him. Because I
Then
can't
find
charge
another
him up
provider.
front because he won't do it. I only know that because I work with we have other builders that we work with, and
Yeah.
the luckily the builders that we work with, they're doing new builds, so a lot of times they're getting a budget from the customer. Like a client comes to them like, hey, I want to build a house. I have a $500,000-$600,000 budget. They're paying cash, blah 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 blah, and then they'll allocate 30, 40 grand for a kitchen. So they are okay with spending a little bit on cabinets. They're not going to be like super, super penny pinching. Like they're probably going to shop a little bit, but once we've done business and we've established some rapport there and they like working with us, they're not going to like nickel and dime us.
Yeah.
But past that, like in these situations, I totally understand it from a flipper standpoint of they're not going to be paying whatever fees for me to like come out and do it, which is why I'm like, all right, just have a better process and stand. And I don't even necessarily think it's everybody's fault. I think it's just a lack of understanding of like how that process works and why it works that way. So I think what I've had to learn is just I need to be more upfront and transparent with people and explain to them like, hey, if you are able to do these things, this is why I'm requesting and this is how it'll benefit you. I can guarantee that I can beat any price for the quality, apples to apples, for damn sure. I know that I can because I know the margins in the industry and I know what I'm willing to do, especially for somebody who I have a good relationship with.
Yeah.
Past
But
that,
I would say that's a cabinet supplier rule, period. And that's cabinet supplier pricing, period. If you're
yeah.
looking for somebody with kitchen design and installation and supplying the product, that's a different pricing. And I even told you if you do it based on like percentages, right? X amount of markup for just the supplies, X amount of markup for supplies and design, X amount of markup for design, installation, and materials. That's that hand holding thing that you do for people.
Mhm. Yeah, but like when we're our customer base too is totally different. Like I'm doing residential stuff, so like people are doing this for the vanity purposes. That's like our ideal customer. So they're willing to spend. It's a value-based pricing rather than cost based. So
Yeah.
like I'm not doing cost plus model just to
Right,
like
right.
make a margin. Like my customer and what they're willing to spend essentially determines what my price is going to be.
But
So
then on the back end, that's when you have to do a lot of ass kissing and a lot of like tight leashes with your subcontractors to make
oh yeah,
sure
I
that they're
have to.
delivering. So that's what I'm saying is that's all the stuff that I go through too. Either I pay a premium for you to white glove the hell out of me, or I don't pay a premium, but then everything falls on my lap and it's all my responsibility. And so you make that choice. I'm just saying with Santiago, he's the kind of person that he pays for white glove because he's a prima donna pretty princess. He is. I'm not exactly that. So anyway,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, I
beef
just it's a conversation that I'll have to have.
Yeah.
But and I think that the hard thing for me too is like I want to have those conversations, but like it's just so low on my priority list because I know that I'm not making a lot of money on it.
Mm.
So like when I'm looking at stuff like that, I want to foster the relationship, but at the same time, I don't make a lot of money. So like I should be focusing on my leads where I'm going to make 10 grand,
So then
as opposed to fucking
say that,
1,000 or less.
say that. I would love to take care of you, but where I'm at right now, if you're needing more, honestly, if you're needing more time and attention, it's going to cost you this much because where I'm at right now is I'm taking care of these people and the return is just higher. So my bandwidth is limited, that I can't give you what you need. You're probably better going off with somebody else. So feel free to fire people. Just because I send you somebody doesn't mean you have to be there. You're a slave to that. You
Yeah.
fire people left and right.
Yeah.
No, make eye contact with me and say, yes, I understand. I'm going to fire people that you send me.
Yes, Miss Suzanne, I will fire everyone.
Not exactly it, but you're closer.
Every single
Okay.
person that you choose.
Whatever. Just
You're gonna hire
punch
them just to fire them.
I'm gonna
punch
hire them
people in
just
the
to fire
face.
them.
They're all
And
dead to
Miss
me.
Suzanne told me to do this, and that's why you're fired.
She said, destroy you, give
Mhm.
you trauma.
She said,
Yeah,
I
okay,
hate you,
great.
you're the worst. You should actually quit your job and leave
Okay,
your
little
family.
little bit. I
Because you're
think you need to talk to a
disgraceful.
therapist now. This is a little intense. And we're over time. But anyway, I just want to say thank you, everyone, for coming, spending your time. All of this is voluntary. Everything we do here, we can do whatever the hell we want to do. My goal is just to make sure that what we do is valuable for you, and vice versa, valuable for me as well. So if you have ideas on to how to improve this, or what you want to see, what you don't want to see, we can do all of the above. But the simple goal for me is to make sure that we have a space to hold for each other. And that's it, for us to be seen, so that we can be more of the person that we want to be every single day, because we have good friends that keep us accountable.
Suzanne, what is your Facebook group? The one that you're talking about?
Which one? The contractor one?
Yeah.
Contractors help contractors, Massachusetts, New Hampshire.
I'm
And
not even in it.
you're not in it?
Nope. I thought I was.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, that's why. Because I have so many groups in here, and I was like, I don't know what it is that you're.
So popular.
That's why I didn't post. I think I went into my groups and I was like, I actually don't even know which one it is.
Yeah, that one. But I would encourage you, if you look at the way that I post jobs, I post them singularly. So I'm going to post another one for like hydroseed. But everything is super singular. It's like, this is what I need. This is the time I need it. Apples to apples comparison. And then if something is a little bit wonky, you just call the guy and be like, what the hell is this? I have a guy who's going to do it for half. Why are you this price? Tell me, because I'm happy to spend money with you. Price is not a problem if the value is there. So what am I missing? Your price is so high. What is the value? Is it the same as the other guy is offering me or not? Let's figure it out. And it's better to have more Latinas than less Latinas.
I
Okay.
always agree with that. Yeah.
Great. So you need to tell people you got a job and have people chase your tail, instead of you just dealing with one or two people and not being happy with them.
Yeah.
More
I mean,
Latinas.
we're doing it. We're definitely doing it. My guy Hector is huge. I do have, if anybody's willing, Suzanne, maybe you, question for doing, I guess I can kind of give the situation and maybe you can fill in if with
Sure.
advice. Guy owns land. He wants to use this land and have somebody come in and develop on the land.
Mhm.
In exchange for, once those developments are built, having basically an equity split of the properties.
Okay, that's possible.
So, but he wants to keep the land. So this is the kind of first question I have is, if he keeps all the land and he's only splitting the properties, that doesn't really make sense to me.
A land lease? Like he's leasing out the land for somebody to build, but he also gets ownership in the building?
Correct.
Sounds like a great deal for the guy.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Sign me up. Where do we go? I'll go find some land. Like,
Are you serious? I thought you were being sarcastic.
no, if the guy owns all the land and a builder comes in and builds everything from ground up, and then
And
he
gets a piece of that
splits
too?
equity.
He's getting paid twice, because the land guy is renting or leasing the land to him, and
Yep,
he's
getting paid.
collecting.
Yeah,
Huh?
And
he's
he's
saying
getting-
the landowner's getting the good deal.
Which
The
is what
landowner
I'm
getting the good
saying.
deal.
Which
Yeah,
is what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I don't
yeah.
feel
That's-
comfortable not having also ownership of some of the land.
Yeah, I was gonna say, doubt you'd find a builder to do that. There's
No.
no,
Yeah.
who's gonna build thousands of dollars worth of equity on somebody else's property?
Exactly. So,
Well,
so
then
I
just-
would be the builder in question, and I was talking to this guy today. He wants it's between 7 and 9 duplexes built on his land, and then for equity split. I talked to Colin Yeep today,
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
regarding some lending. So
I mean,
I think he should be able to help if I actually can put the plans together, and then Hector and I would partner on it, and we would put together the crews of people, and then I would supply the materials, and we just fucking bang it out.
I feel
I
like
just
it's
don't know how
one.
to structure it.
It's
And
It'd be
it
one,
sound. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, it'd be one thing just to make an LLC
Yeah.
and then split the percentages each way. So
Yeah.
you have control of the land also,
Yeah.
you know? So if anything ever happened.
And you
then-
don't have to buy the land. He comes with the land, you
Yeah.
come with the building experience and the money to get it going, a new LLC with both of you guys on it.
Yeah,
yeah,
Because like
Okay.
people do land leases all the time, but like if the developer comes in and builds something up like that, he gets 100% of everything, you know, and it's a certain lease amount. Is it 50 years, 100, whatever it looks like, right? But yeah, probably like a new LLC would make the most sense. The owner comes with having the land, you come with the building experience, the materials, and the money, you know,
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah, because he just basically has this land.
Even
I don't know
still,
how he acquired it, if this was like family passed down or whatnot, but
what's the land value though? Because even still, it sounds like he's getting a great deal. Even if he gives you the land and you get into a new LLC, you're probably paying, where is this about?
Seabrook, New Hampshire.
Okay, so you're probably paying 200 to 250 a square foot, like new construction would be my guess. So like, I still think you probably have more of the nut there that you're spending like money versus him having the land. I would
Oh,
say,
yeah, for sure.
yeah. So I'd say maybe try to get a value of the land and figure that out, but
Yeah.
or maybe you just take more of an equity position, right?
yeah, because you could give him like 15% of the LLC and you keep, 80%,
Yeah.
75, 80, 90%,
Land
whatever.
values 500, let's say, for the land value, but I'm building how many duplexes?
Between 7 and 9.
So 7
Yeah, I'm
duplexes
valuing-
at like 3,000 square feet each, 21,000 square feet times like 250. You're in it for like 5 million in construction?
Exactly. Yeah.
So you're in it for 5 million in construction. He's in it for whatever the land
500.
value is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So-
maybe you're getting 70, he's getting 30, whatever. But that's probably more along the lines of like
Yeah.
what should happen.
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of what I was thinking. But I mean, if I do that, that's a pretty surefire way of becoming a
Well, maybe
millionaire in a short time.
does
So,
he have any money, or does he just
the
have the
guy?
land? Yeah.
He just has the land. He's not planning on bringing any money into this deal.
Okay, because
Honestly,
maybe he comes with like the down payment or something if he could swing it. You have the construction knowledge and maybe a percentage of the down payment or something. I'm just trying to figure out something to make it more fair, but
Yeah.
he
Well,
sound
I can probably offer him a couple different variations. Like, hey, if you're able to bring more money to the deal, I'm willing to do it for this. But otherwise, if you're coming with nothing but you own some land and I'm doing everything else, then this is what I'll offer you.
yeah,
he
definitely
sounds
start.
like you know a seller when they ask for too much, especially in a creative deal where they're like, I want a high down payment, I want a high interest rate, I want a balloon payment. You're like, bro, it's fucking too much. Where's the upside for me? It
Mhm.
doesn't make any sense. Like
Yeah.
you have your land, you're gonna rent the land to me, and then you're gonna take the equity from the additional value add I put on your land. How does that make any sense for me? I'd rather
Yeah,
just
would you-
buy the land and
would you
be
do
here
it?
without you.
Yeah.
Like if roles were reversed, would you do it? That's the question to slap themselves in the face, right? Like I'm spending
Where's
5
the
million
upside
on
for
this
you?
build
Yeah.
and you have land that's worth X. Like how does that make sense? If
A
you
lot-
hey, if you want help looking at additional numbers or whatever, I'm an agent. I can give you ideas on what it will sell for. I can help kind of look at like land and zoning. I have experience in land surveying and whatever. If
Yeah,
you
for
want,
sure.
if not perfectly okay, but yeah, I would say new LLC
Yeah.
and split it that way.
Yeah. You could always buy him, give him a little bit of equity for a certain amount of time or something, but you can always buy him out because just like any builder, any investor builder, you're gonna build so many units and then you're gonna go back and you're gonna refinance.
Mhm.
So you're gonna grab costs, so you're gonna have money to be able to pay him, to buy the land, to pay him off or, something of that sort. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you
I
can
agree.
offer him money, not your money. It's gonna be the bank's money. So you can offer him money for a lower equity position he can take on your stuff, but you're gonna become controlling over it after so long.
Or just get him out of the deal entirely. I mean, at the end of the day, like, why not just get his property under contract, contingent on
Yep.
permits to build a minimum of X amount of units at a price
Yep.
that he wants? You're able to force the value through said permits. If you don't get approvals, then you're only out like 50 grand in permitting, right? Versus like whatever. Because no matter what, you're going to be spending the money to try to figure out what it's worth. If he has the land, it has to get permitted anyways, unless it's buildable by right for that. And if it's buildable by right, do you need to build a road going in there? Does it have enough frontage where you can just do like duplex, duplex, duplex? So like, there's definitely a lot of moving parts, and I don't think his land is like, I don't know. I know nothing about the lot, but the more that we talk about this, I'm like, this would be like something I would just offer contingent on permits, pay him out, and get him the heck out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're doing the heavy
you're
lifting.
you're gonna have 40 grand on engineering anyway, minimum.
Yeah.
You're gonna have 35, 40 grand on, or just on engineering.
Yeah, I think he said he's got some additional land that he'd be willing to sell off in order to cover essentially some of those expenses.
Yep.
To basically get the land where it needs to be built.
Jones and Beach. Jones and Beach out of Stratham might be good to talk to for engineering. They did all of the engineering for like the new Walmart and everything in Seabrook. So like they have all that shit surveyed. Obviously we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, but
yeah, I do have a survey company that is my next door neighbor.
Okay, but yeah, fair.
Make sure they come to the cookout.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I think they actually just
Leah,
got bought out. They're like the company that bought them out is the largest surveying company in the country.
all right. Hey, Keza.
Yes.
So Lee's having a huge party at his dad's company over in Newmarket,
Yes, that's correct.
Newmarket, New Hampshire. So
Okay.
he has so he lives there, so you can go jump on his bed if you want to. And then downstairs is the studio with all the fun stuff. And then they have a huge parking lot, to which I said, we need to have a party there. You need to invite all of your customers, all of your contractors, and just like mix it up, chop it up. So Corey Case is the party boy. He's the reason why I had Creative Elite, because he was like, Suzanne, I want to have the biggest fucking party ever. And I was like, I hear you. Let's also try to be a little productive, but like I like the party vibe. So let's have a party. But he's the party person. But Lee's having it, and that's probably the next time we'll get together. Is actually we're gonna go hiking. I gotta tell you guys about that. Not now though, because I forgot.
When is it?
Hiking or the party?
Well, both, I guess. The party.
Hiking, I think, is April 5th. And it's near you. It's Camp Cardigan.
My party will probably have to be in June.
June?
Say it again?
Okay.
I said party will probably have to be in like June or July, like summer.
That's
Sweet.
fine.
I'll start hydrating now then.
Yeah.
But also why? Why?
Because my brother is getting married in May, so everything until then is like
Crazy. Yeah, wedding stuff. Are they going on a honeymoon?
Probably.
Who's gonna watch the baby?
We'll see. I have no idea. Maybe they're not. I
The
don't
kid will
think
be-
that they actually could. The baby's too young. He's
No,
only-
they're not gonna take the baby on the honeymoon. That's not how you honeymoon.
I know. So if they do anything for a honeymoon, it'll probably have to be something like local where they just go stay at like a place for a night or something.
Okay. All right, but party at your house. We're all gonna come. I have a deep email list, and yeah, you invite your people. You should fill it up with your people first, but then I'm coming to jump on your bed and dance in your parking lot.
Okay.
I'll have to be selective what customers or clients I invite.
I'll have all the Latinos.
Yeah. Well, usually what I say is there's an after hours part where things can get sloppy, but between X hours and X hours, like keep it tight.
The Diddy
Yeah.
party, the after
This is-
party.
I'll bring the baby oil.
This
Hell
this is why my meetups were always like sectioned off. You know, the first part is like we go for a hike and everybody gets loose. Second part is workshop. Third part is dinner, and then you have after hour drinks and anything goes at that point.
Nice. I did talk to the girl that manages Wing It's. It's just like a wing place downtown. It's like walkable
Okay.
distance from the shop, and she's on board.
Okay. All right. I thought you were just talking to chicks in general. And so I was like, what
I
does
do
this
that.
have
Doing
to
that
do?
too.
I know. That's why I'm like, where are you going with this? How is this related? But I'm
They'll
glad you
cater
have
probably.
a business twist to your chick game. Go ahead. What were you saying?
No, she'll cater.
Okay. I actually like going to restaurants because sometimes catering gets a little bit tough.
If
Like
we have
when you,
if we have people, it's not good. There won't be enough space.
huh? We
There
have
won't be enough
people that
space
in at her restaurant.
at any restaurant.
Oh, you got that many friends?
It's like Project X, huh?
Dude, that'd be sick.
What's Project X?
I've
The
had
movie.
I've had one or two of those.
Biggest party ever.
Yeah. Back in high school. Been a long time.
Gotta love it.
You know, what you should do. You should have like little motorcycle rides, but for adults. You know, like how they have pony rides for the kids. You
Yeah,
should have
just
like
take people
little.
out on the bike.
Yeah. And you do like a Newmarket tour real fast, like a 5-minute Newmarket tour, and be like,
Nice.
Honestly,
that's our countertop vendor. That's our installer, and Jose lives over there.
I can
that's
do
a
that because Hector
business.
lives right across the street, him and his wife.
Yeah, I will tell you this. I got
Yeah.
a cotton candy machine. It is so much effing fun.
That
So
actually
much
does
fun.
sound great.
So easy.
Honestly, though, that's a business model. Back when I worked at the Harley dealership in Northampton, I used to work at the rental department. And this guy came in and he's like, "Yeah, I need to. I called in for 8 of your bikes," and I was like, "Okay." And he literally like people would fly in from UK, down from Canada, whatever. It was all included. He would charge everybody like $6,000, and he owned a couple properties up along the coast between New Hampshire and Maine. Everybody met him there, and then he would pay for gas. He would pre-fill like stock the fridges. So at the house in New Hampshire, he'd have a lobster or like a fish boil, and then he would have like a lobster bake, and he had a great time doing it.
That is pretty sweet. I like it. I
It's
got another
cool.
one of my best friends who's getting a bike soon too. So
Mine is not operable. I got the same one as you though, 1200 custom. It's not really running too hot.
yeah, mine wasn't either. It took me about 5 hours last Saturday with me and my friends to try and figure it out. So
There
we
you
got it
go.
running finally. So
Nice.
Do you guys buy project bikes? Is that why they're not running, or is this like normal
Harley
getting it running?
Davidson.
It's a summer thing, like
Yeah,
bringing it.
it's like Harley Davidson. I describe it as that girl who only gets away with her behavior because she's so hot.
100%. That's very accurate.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah. Like they don't behave well. They're broken all the time. You
They're
always
so
have to dump
nice.
money into
Broken's
them,
the
but they're like
best.
so sexy that it's okay.
So nice to ride, you know? Other than that, it's like, yeah.
Yeah. They're nice to ride.
Anyways.
All right. Thank you. See you at, I'm gonna send you guys details for hiking. You can do whatever the hell you want to do. I'm the least athletic out of everybody. I hang out in the back, not because I'm being a shepherd of people, but because that's where my athletic abilities lie. So do not think that you cannot hack it. I will be there. And yeah, so I'll send you out details for hiking. And then Lee, get a date on the calendar. Talk to your dad, or I'll call your dad. Maybe I'll wait for your mom to get hired, and then I'll talk to your mom, and then I get the
Use the
party.
party plan.
Yeah, and then we'll get a party going. Karaoke machine, Harley
Oh, we have
Davidson.
one. Yeah, we have a full
No,
like
I
legit
know you
karaoke
got
machine.
one.
You want me to
And
plan
then
it?
let me see if I can get more cotton candy machines because they're awesome. They're so much.
Right.
All
All
right.
right, y'all. Have a good
Thank you,
night.
everybody.
Nice chatting with
See
you.
ya.
Later.
Bye.
Let's see ya.
Later.